And here we go. The grand finals of BlizzCon is upon us.
Down here in the bottom left of Deadwing, our Zerg player makes some noise for StarTale Life. And his opponent to the north in the top left from Team Acer, it's MMA!
Not a lot of people expected these two players to be in the grand finals. Life came into BlizzCon as the rank 14 seed out of 16, and MMA was ranked number 9. Both players had difficulties even getting to BlizzCon throughout this year. MMA started the year strong. He had a very difficult midsection of 2014, but he recovered with 2 major championships, DreamHack Moscow and then WCS Season 3, and very similar was Life.
That's right. You know, it was very iffy for these guys. So they came in as underdogs. They came in as people that were just brushed aside. In fact, I believe that almost all of the professional analysts said, you know, I think both these guys are losing their first rounds. But they tried so hard. They practiced so heavily, really got into it. And you can see it's paid off in dividends.
And it is so difficult to call who's actually going to come out on top here. It's really going to come down to this. Well, every single moment, every single decision throughout this game is going to be incredibly important. And already we start to see both build orders taking shape.
Well, this is exactly what I want to see throughout the series. A pretty quick Zergling speed for Life. I mean, that's his unit, right? The speed Zergling. This is what he gets all of his success off of. The scouting, the aggression, the defense. This is his key unit. Whereas MMA, on the other hand, a more reactive Terran player, going to open with the Reaper so he can scout what's going on.
And he will need to do that considering the way that Life just played against Tasia. Incredibly aggressive and very unorthodox. That wasn't really typical Zerg play that we saw from Life. MMA, very similar to Tasia. Probably in a straight-up fight is the favorite, but tricks are probably going to be the way that Life is going to edge through.
Well, one of the tricks is to play completely different from how you've played before. He was very cheesy, very aggressive and sneaky in his match against Tasia, and Life is a really smart guy. He realizes MMA was watching and studying, so I think he's going to go for some macro play here.
On Deadwing, it would be the smart choice here. A nice, large 4-player map. And the Reaper does get a Zergling kill here already, and that is a good start here for MMA to get a single Zergling kill, and he's going to try and get a second one here. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult to get. He does not want to lose a drone here.
Well, it looks like you should get another Zergling, I think. Oh, yeah. There you go. He does get a second. This is actually very nice by MMA. A lot of the times you don't even kill one Zergling with this, but some very strong micro coming out from our Terran.
And MMA here, he's moving 2 Marines south of his main base. As he's scouting at the same time with the Reaper, he's going to try and catch a drone, transferring from the main base to the natural, and it looks like he's going to get one here. And MMA, a great start here. 2 Zerglings down, a drone as well. And he does have the option to poke in and scout. 2 Marines inside his main base here. Going to deny any Overlord scout as well. So he really keeps what he's doing in this game. Well, he could away from Life here, but he has chosen to throw down this starport. Maybe a little bit worried about potential Zerglings coming towards the front here.
Yeah, he definitely could be. He realizes speed could be finishing up pretty soon, and he is right about that. It is just about finishing right now, so Life will go out and scout, but you're right, Apollo. So far, MMA taking a little bit of an advantage, and this could get into Life's head a little bit. To lose 2 Zerglings and a drone to a Reaper, it's pretty uncommon for Life.
That is pretty uncommon here, but the game continues on here as we have Life at 46 applied, MMA to 39. The first couple of Hellions are coming out now, and this is where MMA is going to be able to continue his pressure with that first Reaper.
Well, he is pushing forward right now. Going to see that, in fact, this third base is making right now. The Queen's going to come out and kind of deny any harassment. Not an easy place for MMA to really harass, being on the high ground.
With MMA taking a second gas here, it really opens up his options, because you normally see the third command center come in to really push your production, your economy, and just play for the longer stages of the game here. Life's hiding Zerglings, which could give him more information on this game if he's able to get in there. But I think we may see see an armory come in. He could try to use Hellbats here for a frontal attack. There is the armory coming in, so it looks like we are going to see that. But there is an Overlord very, very close here for life.
And that's right. If he pokes up and sees the armory, he's going to know all he needs to know to be able to stop this. But still, it is a very tricky push to stop.
Right.
You know, you have a couple medevacs, a whole bunch of Hellbats, and some Marines with Stim behind that. That's a scary force indeed.
And Life is playing pretty safe overall. He's got 5 queens. He's built a spine crawler in the dark here. He has no idea what MMA is doing behind this. For all he knows, this could be a third command center, a double engineering bay, and just a very long game here. Baliness coming in at a regular time here, maybe a little bit earlier than normal, should I say, actually. But
And
this push is going to come out.
He is making some Zerglings as well. It doesn't look like he's actually checked this yet, but, you know, he does know the gas is there, so he knows this is within the range of possibilities of what could occur.
Well, this push is going to happen here, Autosis. There's a lot of Hellions, and Hellions still being made here. Overlord's kind of slowing down and hopefully supply capping Life here as MMA sets up for his first decisive push of the final.
That's right, but we do have a Spine Crawler, we do have some Queens, and 20 Speedlings. So, do you think this will be enough, Apollo? Can he hold on right here?
I'm not too sure he can. The Bailey Nest is going to complete. Bailey's going to be incredibly important. MMA transform his Hellions into Hellbats, and here we go.
Uh-oh, the Hellbat's going to start walking up this ramp right now. He is morphing some Bailey's, but they may be too late. Moving forward right now is MMA into this Spine Crawler. The Queen's trying to hold their ground, but he really needs these Bailings.
Hey, the Bailey's going to connect. They need to connect here. If they do morph, he's going to have to split and well. Pretty decent connections, but not enough. There's still 3 Hellbats. There's still a lot of Marines, and this Medivac is healing these as well. A great move from MMA.
It certainly is, but he hasn't lost drones yet. So if he can kill this army off still without hurting his economy too badly, Life is still in this game. He is still working on nice transfuse on that Queen, pulling the Queen back now. Still a single Hellbat pushing forward, and it looks like MMA will pick up and retreat.
Only a single drone killed there, 39 Zerglings, 5 Queens. Damage was dealt, and damage will continue, but Life has pushed the majority of this off. Actually, this drop here equals the drones from the original push, Autosis.
That's right.
But things to keep in consideration. No third command center, no engineering base. 1-1 is done. We're going to see a lot of drones coming in from Life. He is going to take a lead in this game.
You know, he did sacrifice quite a bit for such a powerful push, and for Life to hold it without really losing a lot of drones, I gotta say, I think Life is totally fine here, especially when you look at his upgrades. He's already got 1-1, he's starting Baneling speed and even +2 carapace, and that is miles ahead of where MMA is at.
All right, well, extra production coming in here for MMA. He salvages his bunkers. He thought there could be a counter-attack coming in here, but that is not the case. He's going to start to feel out this game a little bit more because that's all he's seen was that push. Doesn't really know exactly where he is in this game, but as we can see as observers, there is a 20 supply difference here for Life, who does see that third command center about to be taken.
That's right. Those scouting Zerglings actually doing a great job for him. He understands the timing of this third base, and he can adjust accordingly. Now, he does have another hatchery on the way. No fourth base. Okay, just this second starts up his fourth base. He's already taken down the rocks. His creep spread looking okay, but not quite as good as he'd like it right now.
Well, MMA does have a drop on the left-hand side here, but Mutalisks are starting to come into this game here with 4 in the production tab. These Hellions must get some damage done here for MMA, but as we can see, there's already units here for Life. He's expecting this type of play, and that's very easily dealt with here. And with the Mutalisks popping out, this will be pushed back very easily.
That's right. So still not a lot of economic damage done to Life. And, you know, we always talk about how he's an aggressive Zerg. He's in your face. He's sneaky. He's cheesy. But really, this guy is fantastic at macro play, too. If you don't kill any of his drones, he's as scary as any other Zerg in the world.
And even though this game may look very equal for the majority of people right now, the big difference are those upgrades. Once these 2-2 upgrades complete here for Life, every fight he takes will be so cost efficient here. He's going to get fantastic trades with MMA, and that's where he's going to start to, you know, further his lead.
Well, MMA right now pushing down. He does have quite a few medevacs. Probably going to look to push back some of this creep. And if he can do that, it's going to be really nice for him. These bases are kind of close together. Not a lot of creep at the moment, but it looks like Life wants to come in and try to kill this army off.
Yeah, there's not a lot here from MMA. He boosts back towards his Hellions and actually give a bit of support in this fight here. Life is fighting in this army, and he pushes his back once again. How much and how many reinforcements does MMA have here to help out? As once these buildings go down, that is it. And there's a lot of units here for MMA.
Oh, that's right. Already 2 medevacs picked off right now, though, so Life did do some damage with this. He got rid of all the Hellions as well, so those are some strong kills. But overall, MMA still fine.
All right, the game continues on here. Those upgrades about to kick in here for Life Plus to attack finishing. He's getting his air upgrades for his Mutalisks. And at this point here, MMA needs to start dealing damage here to Life. He really hasn't been able to do too much in this game. He's got fantastic production set up, but he's just slightly behind the curve here. 20 supply behind. Life going in again.
And he does get a nice surround off these Mutalisks pushing forward right now. Life trying to mix it up more and more and more. Some few Banelings coming up. The Marine count is getting a little bit lower, but reinforcements do come in, and it looks like he will hold on.
Yeah, trades once again here, and Life kind of winning these fights. He's extended his lead by a 30-odd supply hit. Scan from MMA, having a quick look in between the bases here. What kind of units do we have? How kind of saturated is that fourth base? And he sees there's no gases on that fourth base. A pretty big tell here for MMA to slow down the aggression a lot. Knowing that Life's Zerg count could be a little bit low, that there isn't full saturation on that base. He doesn't need to keep on being hyper-aggressive. He maybe feels that he's a little bit closer in this game than he was first anticipating.
Yeah, I think you are definitely right about that. He's got to watch out for the mass amounts of Zerglings, but hold on, we do have the Mutas going into the main base, multiple turrets going up, but they're a little bit too late. He will get right into this main mineral line and be able to, not quite take out the turret. Very nice repair by MMA, but he will lose quite a few SCVs.
Yeah, losing 5 so far, and he is going to continue to lose on that turret, getting very, very low, but with more SCVs coming to repair, he will hold on from this point, but he did lose 7 SCVs there, and as you can see, the supply still furthering for Life here, 180 to 140. MMA does have those two upgrades complete now, so the upgrade advantage pretty much disappeared here for Life.
That's right. He's fought right back into this game. Still no fourth base for MMA, but that's okay because Life hasn't taken his 5th yet. When Life does end up doing that, though, it's really going to split him up from where he's got most of his defense.
All right, well, Mutalisks looking for some weaknesses, and that is a naked mineral line. No defense there, but Life may not have quite seen that, as doesn't want to overcommit, does not want to lose these Mutalisks.
Oh, and he is flying in right now. Ooh, some Widow Mines there. He's got to be very careful. MMA on top of this micro. Oh, Life may be going for a big attack. Bringing these Lings in to set off some Widow Mines. Doesn't succeed on all of them.
No, those 2 Widow Mines are huge right now. They need to detonate onto these buildings, otherwise they're going to come crashing through. First 2 players got some really good hits here. One of the Widow Mines goes down. There's only 1 left, and that is a lot of Banelings here, Autosis.
It certainly is, but we do still have a Widow Mine up there. In the meantime, MMA is trying to do another drop over at Life's side of the map. Will this bring Life home with his Mutalisks, though? It looks like yes, it will.
Yes, it will. That gives MMA some more time to increase his army strength and kind of prepare his defensive once again. This drop, beautiful here from MMA, buying himself some necessary time.
All right, it looks like MMA going to push out down his 3rd base ramp, trying to push back these Lings and Banes. Does successfully do so, and he's got a great defensive position here, Paul. I think the attack timing for Life has actually come and gone. He has to back up and find a new strategy.
He's chosen the infestation pit here, going to go into high blood. Hold that thought. Life is going to decide to attack up into this. There's a lot of Marines up here. The Widow Mines go in and they get some pretty good connections.
Oh my God, the Banelings rolling forward, trying to get all these Marines, even some SCVs being taken out. This Thor being targeted down, picked up by MMA. Some great micro with these medevacs.
And the Thor goes down, but there's still a lot of Mutalisks here. How many Marines are going to actually hold on? Life has a supply advantage, but MMA starting to push him back from this 3rd base.
That's right, but look at the supply, Apollo. MMA is so far behind, over 60 supply down. Does bro these Widow Mines, they get taken out by the Mutalisks. More and more Lings coming up, and Life presses his advantage. GG!
All right, time to begin map number 2.
All right, over here in the bottom right of Catalina. Make some noise for StarTale Life. And his opponent over on the left-hand side of the map, the Terran player from Team Acer, it's MMA!
MMA in the past has been well known for his Terran versus Zerg, his multiple medevac drops, his highlighted aggression, and he really needs to rely on that here today. But we haven't seen a lot of Terran versus Zerg from MMA in recent times here. It's been a lot of Terran versus Terran. It's been a lot of Terran versus Protoss.
Well, that is kind of something we've seen quite a bit of this year. You know, Terrans have really made a big resurgence, MMA being at the forefront of that at this point. But, you know, this has been a tough map for Zergs. We've seen quite a few of them veto it in various terms. Of course, here at the BlizzCon World Championship Finals, you can't veto anything. You got to play every map, and you got to play it like it's your last. So what, Apollo, does Life do here to try to take this game? Where is his best chance?
I think aggression again here. I think that MMA, Artosis, is very, very emotionally invested into winning BlizzCon. He wants it more than anything else. He's mentioned how he's potentially thinking of retiring coming next year. It's all or nothing for him. If he was to lose this next map to some type of all-in, I think it would really rock his confidence against Life.
I have to agree with you there. You know, if you lose that game where you went for a very strong Hellbat push in game number 1, gave yourself a good chance to kill him off early and start the series off right, and then on the map that you chose, the map that you feel most comfortable on, and you don't even get to play Zergs on that much because it is a bit Terran favored, you can't lose that map. You can't come back against Life in a situation like that.
So we're going to have to keep our eyes on if we see that aggression come out from Life. We see pretty much the regular build coming out from Life here. Hatchery first, and then we saw the spawning pool, then slightly after was the gas, the extractor, to bring in the Vespian gas, whereas on the other side of things, MMA chosen command center first here on a map that more so favors the same build we saw previously in the Reaper opening because of how easy it is to scout, to go in, to find out and figure out what your opponent's doing. Why do you think that is?
Well, Apollo, I have to say, I think that these two, like, these are very seasoned tournament veterans, okay? These guys travel all around the world. They both won countless titles. They both just play at the absolute maximum level of this game. And I think that this finals here at BlizzCon is a battle of wills. This is a bunch of mind games. They want to trick and out-trick each other and get that mental advantage, knowing how much pressure there is in front of the biggest audience we've seen in StarCraft 2 to date.
Oh, Artosis, you know how to play a crowd.
Thank you, Apollo.
All right, build's starting to take shape now. We have the second gas being taken from second gas on the natural here. Actually, I was a little bit confused there. Second gas by MMA, hiding it away from Life here. Whereas Life has just got his Zergling speed on the way, third hatchery coming in, and it's going to be quite important to try to figure out what MMA's up to here. With the second gas, he once again opens up his options. He can afford to get the starport down here. He can afford to build up the Hellion count and switch into Hellbats again.
That's right.
He could go into Banshee play. There's multiple different choices he can make.
Yeah, there's quite a few possibilities here. What would you prefer on a map like Catalina? Do you want to see the heavy Banshee, Hellion harassment, or would you prefer that he goes for another push like we saw in the last game?
I think Hellion Banshee can be quite good, but by the looks of it, I mean, he's already chosen my answer for me. It's going to be potentially very similar here to what we saw previously. Both are kind of good. I do like aggression coming out from MMA. The second to third base is quite far away from each other. It's not as easy as a creep spread. There's chances to either use the Banshees in the main base because of the airspace. There are chances here from MMA to get damage done for sure.
Well, we do have a medevac on the way. A couple Widow Mines being produced right now. Something we definitely have seen on this map in the past, can be used very effectively to pressure and sometimes even in medevac drops.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to see here. But Life is trying to figure out what's going on. He's got a Overlord moving in, but he switches back. He sees the Tech Lab and Stim being researched. And then he's going to see the factory moving over. The Widow Mines just down that route.
Ooh, he needs to hide those Widow Mines. You don't want to show those Widow Mines. Okay.
I think he may have just missed it, but he saw the starport. And is going to start to wonder what's going on. He's added on a Bailey Nest very early and started Zergling production. Life smells what MMA is up to.
Well, MMA bringing over this medevac right now with a couple of Widow Mines. No detection right now for Life, so that could turn into being a big deal.
Yeah, he cannot let these land. Absolutely cannot let these land.
A lot of Zerglings being produced right now. He doesn't have any extra creep spread in his main base. The Hellion's going to try to maybe draw attention, but the medevac not being able to get anything off so far.
This is a lot of Zerglings that Life is building here. It's almost more than you need to defend, Artosis.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Apollo. We may be seeing a Baneling bust coming out of life here.
I think that's what we are going to see here. The type of attack that MMA went for didn't do anything. He's invested resources into it.
MMA knows. He's going for a siege tank, Apollo. That is exactly the unit you want to be able to stop a Baneling bust. Putting that on your high ground, it can splash and kill so many Banelings that the Zerg just won't be able to break you.
All right, well, let's find out, is this going to work or not? So many Zerglings have been made. He's 68 already. The tank, though, on a map like this, on a map that has a small choke area just underneath the second base, the second expansion for MMA, it's going to be very difficult to make work here. The Medivac trying to still plant the Widow Mines, but here comes the Flood.
At least it's nice that he doesn't have the Widow Mines at home. Those help out a lot as well. Ooh, the siege tank going on the low ground. The siege tank moving out. This is going to be bad.
This is huge for Life. Life knows, and now he's going to try and get a full surround. This is so big for Life.
This is huge. Life surrounding the army. The Banelings coming in, going up the ramp. Another siege tank is out, but he busts through that wall, and there are no units to protect this siege tank.
He's keeping the Banelings next to the siege tank, and MMA has walked into this attack. He had no idea what was happening, and he's in so much trouble right now. His complete base is exposed. Widowmines come to help, but the Flood is here. The natural has been exposed. The main base is being absolutely destroyed.
There are so many Zerglings in here. He is killing off so much. All the SCVs being involved.
To that $100,000 first place prize.
Down here in the bottom right of Foxtrot Labs, it is none other than Startail Life. And his opponent in the top left, our Terran player yet to put a victory on the board. Make some noise for Acer MMA.
And this is where it all matters now here for MMA. And as much as the pressure's on him, Artosis, Life already deciding to take the game into his own hands here. He's moving out with a drone very, very early. And from what we saw against Tasia, I think we might have an insight into what we're going to see.
Do you think that this is going to be a proxy hatch, or maybe is he trying to just scout and see what's going on?
Artosis, I think it's going to be a proxy hatchery.
Oh my God, that would just be awesome. I would love to see it. Is drone, though, kind of sitting at home? Oh. Well, I mean, that's closer to MMA than the hatchery is base, so in some manner of speaking, you're right.
I wish it was what we thought it could have been. But he's come back here. The game's going to just be a standard one here. Reaper opening coming out from MMA. And he's going to be trying to figure out, of course, what Life's up to. What are some of the key components here for MMA to really think about playing in these positions on this map?
Well, you know, you do have that wide open choke point at your natural base, so it can be hard to actually wall that off quickly against quick speedling attacks or anything like that. Of course, where do you take your third base is one of the biggest questions here. Do you kill the rocks and go down? Just like right there that our wonderful observer is showing us here. I believe it is Funka. And do you take maybe the gold base, which is to the left there, which is, you know, the gold base, though, is a little bit crazy. You can see it is so easy to attack it from all angles, from high ground, behind the minerals. It's a hard one to take, but again, that's why I feel like this is a life map. That's the type of base you can take as a Zerg and stay on the aggressive side of things and, you know, get an advantage.
Yeah, and just remember the way that the map order was selected is Life chose map 1, won it, and then he won his opponent's map and then got to choose the third map, which we're in currently. And Life wanted to play Foxtrot, as you said, plays to his strengths.
Well, right now we do have a Reaper coming in. Of course, Reaper's quite good on this map, going to be able to scout what's going on as well as have a bunch of jump-in points, so can be quite annoying to deal with these. I don't expect it's going to do a lot of damage, though.
No, shouldn't get too much done here. There is a drone that's very low on health on this natural, and it is going to be hunted down, but these two Zerglings here for protection as they chase around the gas here, taking a lot of damage themselves, though, and MMA very close to getting a kill here.
Ooh, gets a Zergling, but it looks like that's it for now. Very, very close. Great micro by both sides.
He comes in and tries to poke in, but will have to return out here. Single gas by MMA at this point. He usually is looking to take a second one. And he's moving Marines into position again to deny scouting, and there is the second gas coming in. So MMA not really playing to the more standard of openings here, which we see the single gas and third command center just as safer, well, not really safer, but more economy opening focused.
Yeah, you know what? I gotta say, even though this isn't quite as standard, and even though MMA has lost both previous games, I like what he's doing, Apollo. Opening up with a Reaper into a little bit more tech. I feel like that's something that's good against Life. You know, a lot of times Life goes low eco or goes for something that's so greedy that you can punish it with a build like this. But so far, MMA just hasn't been able to put anything together.
Well, MMA is going to try the same build that he used in the previous game here. He's got 2 Widow Mines on way. Of course, the Starport and the Medivac's going to follow. And we'll see what success he can get, because he didn't really get anything from this previous game. And then, of course, he walked into that attack from Life. And the Overlord trying to figure out what's going on. 2 extra Marines come in. And he's going to scout the Starport again here.
Oh, very good scout, especially considering he hadn't seen those gases. Really tells him a whole lot.
And 4 additional Zerglings do get made. His response to the Starport previously is still to get that Baneling nest quite early, just in case we are to see Hellbats. Only a couple of extra drones, but mostly Zerglings here. And here comes the drop.
All right, this time, you know, he does have a little bit more in that medevac with those 4 Marines as well.
Yeah.
Just a slight variation on what we saw in that last game. In the meantime, Life is pushing his creep, destroying these rocks so he can defend that 3rd base as well. But he's really got to be careful here about this drop. Once again, the Widow Mines are quite a threat because there's no detection for Zerg yet.
And right now, we've got MMA, who's pulling the attention of Life towards the 2nd and 3rd base with his Hellions and Reaper. And then he's planning to drop inside the main base here. The medevac all natural. Here it comes. He's going to boost in. He's going to drop the Widow Mines.
Oh, one Widow Mine gets down, and it does, in fact, bro. The Queen goes up. Looks like she'll take the shot. The other Widow Mine, oh, he's not dropping. Kind of a delay here by MMA, but he does drop out that Widow Mine, and 4 drones killed. A very nice shot.
Very good there. And then the Queen inside the main base as well. These 4 Marines doing the work. And even more drones can go down here. So an excellent, successful drop here from MMA.
Certainly it is. The Speedlings coming in with the Queens will, in fact, clean this up. But he had to make spores. He had to, ooh, that's really close. That's really close to going up. Ooh. Oh, that was a bit nerve-wracking, Apollo.
Too close for comfort there. But damage dealt there by MMA. That's a good start for him. Of course, if that had gone wrong, this series is getting worse and worse and worse. But good start. He's got his upgrades on the way. Noticeably, no 3rd command center, if I'm not mistaken, from what I can tell on the minimap here. It's pure barracks. It's pure production. It's a single engineer mate. And he is just ramping up his unit production very, very early on in this game.
It looks like he wants to go for a massive attack here, Apollo. This could be a scary one for Life to try to hold on against. But you know what? Life is getting 1-1. Those should finish up right around the time that MMA is really pressuring. So at least his upgrades are going well, and his production should also.
I feel like this type of attack is very easy to deal with if you're Life, if you know what's going on. But he's got no indication. He's got no overlords close to MMA. He's got no way to scout this out. The only way he's going to do it is if he builds an Overseer or sneaks a Zergling in. The layer's not close. The pressure is continuing. And Life, who's going to be building a lot of drones at this point, because you're expecting the 3rd command center, you're expecting the double engineering bay. But it is the complete opposite here. That single Zergling on the other side of the map could be one way that he gets a scout on this. But if he doesn't, he will get stung by this.
You are so right, Apollo. We see drone after drone after drone created here by Life, just kind of refilling, getting his army, his economy going. But where is his army? He doesn't have much to speak of. He is starting Baneling speed. He is getting a Spire, and even taking a 4th base. But I got to tell you, that 4th base is never going to live against a build like this from MMA.
Absolutely not. The armory's coming in, so we can build Hellbats with this mix as well. But here comes another drop that's going to continue the pressure here. Any kill, any way to slow down Life is going to increase the value of this next push that's going to come out here. And look at that position of these Marines here.
That Marauder just being in the way for everything. Oh my God, he takes out so many Lings and the Banelings. This is a super powerful attack by MMA, and his
dealing critical damage to life.
And the armory is about to finish, so these units can turn into Hellbats too. There's a lot of reinforcements coming away here for MMA as well. Oh, life is up against it right now. This is a very difficult attack. Banelings are being moved. Baneling speed must be very close to finishing as well. But he's lost 13 drones in this. He's lost a lot of units as well. Here is the main attack.
Look at this supply, Apollo. Right now, MMA in the lead by 50 supply. He's done a ton of damage to life. His army is so scary with these Hellbats, with this +1 attack. He's pushing forward, and I don't know that life can stop him.
If MMA does not make this work, he has got not a lot left in this game. He needs to make it work, and it looks like he can. He's got so many units here. Baneling's speed is finished. Can they get the detonations? Link's coming from right to try to help out.
A beautiful flank there by Life, but will it be enough? Still Hellbats left. A beautiful micro here by MMA, picking up those Hellbats, redriving them. Ling's coming up, but MMA just has too much.
He has way too much, and he's going to take out the Baneling nest, and that is the only way to deal with Marines at this point. Mules are coming out, but they're not going to be too helpful here. Marines here without combat shields are still going to do the work.
Choices to defend. Well, here we are on map 4. In the top right, leading 2-1. Our Zerg player makes some noise for StarTale Light. And his opponent down in the bottom center of our map, our Terran player winning the last game. It's Acer MMA.
And of course, the further we go into this series, the more intense it gets for both players here. MMA winning this one will equalize the series after losing the first 2 games, and Life, of course, winning puts him just 1 map away from being the 2014 world champion. What strategies are we going to see? Because we haven't seen anything too crazy yet in this series. We haven't seen any double barracks play from MMA, which he has been known to do. We haven't seen anything too wild from Life in terms of the early game either.
Yeah, that is true, Apollo. I want to venture a guess and say I think it might be time for like a Roach Baneling all-in here. I think it's a good map for it. You know, you're close enough that you can get across the map quite quickly, and the ramp leading up to the natural, it's pretty big.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that is a very powerful strategy to use on this map. And as much as Life could be thinking about using that, I think MMA is also thinking that is a very, good possibility to see this come through here. So definitely both players going to be thinking about these possible options here. As MMA can take 2 gases very early on and could play a Hellion Banshee opening, which is quite good against that, but he is just taking a single gas, which would push him away from that. But look at this. On a map that is known for its type of aggression, it's known for its even 2 barracks play. We see 3 hatcheries, then the extractor, then the spawning pool coming out from Life.
Well, he got that Overlord down there, scouted in the right direction, and when he saw it, he was like, I'm not going to sit here on 2 bases and take a reasonably timed third. I need a quick third here to counter your fast command center. So I like what I'm seeing from Life here, but he's got to continue to scout. We saw that was his hole on Foxtrot. He simply didn't know what was coming from MMA.
Well, the benefits here from Life is he won't reap the benefits of the economy straight away here from 3 hatcheries, but what he will get is the much, much faster lava injects across 3 hatcheries, which gives him a lot of different ways to play with this. He can use that for a lot of drones and then further his economy. He could use that for a lot of units to be aggressive with. So a good advantage that he'll take with these 3 hatcheries, just seeing where he'll want to put that advantage.
Yeah, it looks like MMA is scouting right now, trying to figure out what's going on. I think he already has a pretty good idea of what's happening. Going to that natural, not seeing a queen, kind of points towards the fact that this could definitely be a quick 3 hatch. So it looks like he will back up with that SCV for now and just continue on his tech route with his second gas.
Yeah, second gas coming in now. So once again, MMA going to open up his options. He's decided not to play for 3 command center builds in this game. It's always about getting that starport nice and early and trying to deal damage and then kind of taking it from there, whether he's successful or not. So we should be seeing that starport come in, and he does have multiple options again to choose from, whether it be the Widowmine play, if he wants to try to go for a Banshee opening, maybe a Hellbat usage as well. So a good couple of choices.
Well, he does throw down, I think it is going to be Hellion Banshee. We see this time he is going for the starport once again, but watching this barracks fly over next to the starport points towards Banshee play, where you can make the tech lab and then switch the add-ons.
And if we were to see aggression come out from Life, the Hellion Banshee's pretty good, obviously. The Banshee can deal a lot of damage against these aggressive units, but scouting is still very important from both sides here. Life has an Overlord coming in to try to figure out what's going on. Likewise, MMA with his first couple of Hellions needs to feel out the game here a little bit more. See where the money's being spent, where that lava is going to be spent. And this Overlord, it's going to get the scouts.
Yeah, it looks like without any issues whatsoever, he's going to see that this is in fact going to be Hellion Banshee, and that is a huge amount of information. You need to know that as a Zerg. Even sees Cloak on the way. Of course, that could be canceled by MMA, but he's got to prepare for it no matter what.
All right, second tech lab down nice and early on that barracks as well. So he's going to be able to get Stim into this game and already switching up the barracks play. So he's gone Hellion Banshee into more unit production. And again, hiding away from that third command center. Important just to keep that at the back of your mind here. Double engineering bay after that. And this, again, is building up towards a 2-base timing autosis. I've seen this a couple of times from MMA, an innovation alike, where he waits until his 1-1 upgrades are done, and then he hits hard when those upgrades are complete. Life gonna need to try to figure this out, but in the meantime, he's got Hellion Banshee to deal with.
You know what? I think he'll deal with it all right. He's already got 4 queens. The creep spread's pretty good. He's got his speed. He's making spore crawlers. He's going to be fine against that. But this 1-1 timing attack you're talking about here, Apollo, that's the real scary thing happening in this game right now.
Yeah, he cannot be late on his bailing nest. He cannot be late on bailing speed. This type of attack is designed to kill when those upgrades are complete. And because you don't have a third command center, because you don't want to further your upgrades, it is all about the kill. And if you don't kill, you will lose this game. A very important moment, a very bold choice of strategy here for MMA. The bailing nest comes in, of course, going to be very important to get that bailing speed instantly. But how many drones does he make? Does he even figure this out? Does he not know at all?
I don't think he knows. He could be sniffing it out a little bit. When you go Banshee Hellion, a lot of times you see more than 4 Hellions. A lot of times you see more than 1 Banshee. Hasn't seen either of those, so he might be putting 2 and 2 together here and saying, oh, this could be some other type of aggression with this opening as a feint.
All right, well, Hellions controlling the middle of the map here. The regular timing, by the way, of a third base is around, it can be as early as 9 minutes 30, it can be as late as 11 minutes, so that is kind of the timing where his strategy becomes exposed because there is no third base. Another Overlord goes down, another way to be eliminated in choosing and finding out what's going on and what to do. Units starting to be made here by Life, but it's not to deal with this push.
No, this is just some extra units he wants on the map. He's even taking another base. This is actually looking really, really bad right now for Life. I'm not sure he's going to be able to hold on, Apollo.
Yeah, a couple of comfort banelings being morphed here just to have them, just in case something, maybe a couple of units pushed out here. And this movement there by MMA is almost selling the story of he's about to take his third base, clearing it away. There are 2 tanks with this as well, which are going to support MMA. Will he make this work? If he does, it's gonna be 2-2. The upgrades are completed. This is the time when MMA must move out and he must try to find the victory to tie this series up.
Well, he is moving out with those medevacs right now. Might do a little drop harassment to start this out. The Zergling realizing, wait, where is this third command center? So he's waiting for a drop. Should be able to deflect this for now, but still, the incoming attack is what's really scary.
And because there's 2 extra hatcheries on top of the 3 that is pretty standard, there's a lot of production around for Life. As well as MMA's executed this in terms of the strategy and the build around it, he's not hitting as furiously as he needs to be right now. Well, his 1-1 upgrades, the advantage is gone. Life will have 1-1. Life has bailing speed. Life has a lot of bailings. This is getting a little bit scary. And those tanks that MMA is building, they have to hit the bailings.
They absolutely must. You're supposed to push out the second you hit your 1-1, but MMA is a bit slow. We have this great creep spread. Suddenly, things are looking up for Life. He's got a nice big army. More mutas on the way as well to help out.
Here we go. This is a big push. Remember, it's all about this push here for MMA. Is he going to make it work? There's a lot of bailings now. There's even mulas coming in, 9 of them as well to help deal with this. There's 26 bailings on the field. Is MMA going to make this work?
Well, I'm not so sure about that. He is trying to abuse this area, the fourth base. But the thing is, he doesn't have a third base behind this. If he was doing this with a third base landed in mining, this would be really scary for Life. But as is, even if he loses this, he can still win this game.
Oh, Life's moving his units down south here, and he's going for a counterattack by the looks of it. The wall is closed off, and there are some units here to push these back. But he's also going to come in from different angles. Now, going to start to go in with the Banelings, and they get some pretty decent hits.
Yeah, look how big his army is, Apollo, pushing forward. It loses a few Banelings a little bit sloppily and loses this hatch. So still, MMA in this game fighting forward.
Yeah, that attack maybe not the wisest there from Life. He lost a lot without really doing that much, and he lost that fourth. But remember, no third command center, no 2-2 upgrades. It's all about this push. It is always only going to be about this push. Mule is getting into the SCV line here, really slowing down the income from MMA and forcing him to come back to defend.
You cannot be losing your SCVs like this. You need to keep the pressure on much better than that. These Mutalists doing a fantastic job, but he spent a lot of money on him. Will he have enough Banelings to crush through this?
He's on creep, and Banelings go through. They get a couple of good hits to start off.
That is a good amount of Banelings. They are rolling forward, but still the Siege Tanks and Marines, they continue to press. The Mutalists, where are they? They need to come back and help out.
They do, and these Banelings come riding through again. How much are they going to get done? Not too much there, and MMA pulls back. A pretty good hit in the center there, but Banelings bring it down. Hardly anything here. The Marines bringing down the Mutalists, and MMA pushes through again.
Oh, some nice Baneling connections, though. Not that many Marines left. More links coming out. The Mutalists coming down. Where's the anti-air here from MMA? Oh, there it is. Apollo coming up. The reinforcements right on time.
There's still 30 Marines on this map, but there's a lot of Zerglings, there's a lot of Bins, and they come to push his back once again. MMA picks up to get out. Where is he going? He's going to get chased into the main base. That medevac is very low at the front, and then he's going to get taken down here, and so are the rest.
Uh-oh, this is bad news right now for MMA. Losing his entire army, every Marine taken down. Short of all time crowned.
All right, here we go, Autosis. This could be the last game of BlizzCon and the WCS for 2014. Let's make some noise for these players. Up here to the top right, as the blue Zerg player playing for StarTale, it's live!
And his opponent in the bottom left for Acer. If he loses this, he is out. He needs your support, so make some noise. It is MMA.
A year's worth of playing within the WCS system has come very close to its end here. MMA started off in Season 1 with a second place to MC in Europe. He dropped out in the round of 32 in Season 2, which put his BlizzCon hopes almost completely out the window, but he turned it around with a victory in Season 3. Life, on the other hand, started the year incredibly strong as well. He got a top 4 within the GSL in Season 1, and then got a top 12 finish as well, which is a very respectable finish, but then he dropped out of the GSL come Season 3 and started to travel abroad. He went to Intel Extreme Masters, he traveled to DreamHack to pick up points, which he managed to just scrape in to BlizzCon, coming in as ranked number 14 here. Well, 2 very different years, 2 very different stories.
He's certainly a player that deserves it, Apollo, to be here at BlizzCon with so many great players from around the world trying to get these spots. I would still feel weird if Life hadn't made it. He's been just completely out of control since he really first popped on the scene so long ago.
That's right, and that was the area where he was able to pick up so many tournaments in a row. I think he won about 5 tournaments in the span of 6 months during his dominant reign. And Life, here we are again in 2014, very close to picking up another title. He did pick up DreamHack Bucharest earlier on this year, but this would be the cherry on the cake here if he's able to win this. But here we go, the openings have been chosen. Spawn and pull first here. Bit of a more safer opening here for Life in case we were to run into a double barracks, but also Zerglings can be used aggressively if they do manage to run past this Reaper.
That's right. He is running a couple down. I don't know that they're going to get past the Reaper, though. Looks like he's going to pass him right by and realize what's going on.
Oh.
Skips going through the watchtower.
Autosis, this is... Well, there is a Marine on the way, so shouldn't be too difficult. He didn't build the reactor and factory instantly, which could have been his downfall.
It's funny how bad that would have been for him, in fact. You are right about that. But luckily with this Marine, he'll be able to save the SCV without too much trouble.
And the Marine takes a good few hits here, but he's more worried about the SCV not building the command center than losing the Marine here. He's just going to kind of bring it to the Reaper, sacrifice the Marine, and then pick up these 2 Zerglings with the Reaper.
Yeah.
And hopefully not lose too much mining time, or building time, should I say, on this command center. So well done there by MMA.
Yeah, losing 0 building time, quite well done. But you know what? That was completely worth the 2 Zerglings. We were talking about how Reaper normally doesn't even kill 1 Zergling really at the top. Well, when 2 run across the map like that and he comes home, you're happy to give him up.
All right, 3 command center build for the first time in this series coming out from MMA here off the back of that Reaper expansion. Of course, this build very vulnerable to different types of bailing attacks, roach bailing attacks. This Reaper important to try to figure out what's going on in combination with the Hellions, which we will be seeing very, very shortly here. But that couple of Zerglings, Artosis, did they see this 3rd command center?
I believe so, yeah. They did, in fact, see it. So maybe a little bit sloppy from MMA, putting it so close, but he didn't. He wants to be able to float it when he wants. But still, this is... I like that MMA is doing what you suggested, Apollo. He's going back into more of a macro-centric play. He actually wants to play his longer game.
But does Live capitalize on this now? This is an opportunity to do so. There's the Baneling Nest. There's the Extractor coming in. He's scouted it. He's going to try to punish it. If he does, this means he will be the world champion of 2014. This Reaper incredibly important. What information is he going to get? He goes into the main base.
If he can scout that sinking gas in the Baneling Nest, it's huge. He'll have to give it up. He does see gases mining, but doesn't really tell the whole story, though.
It doesn't know that. Oh, the Hellions, though. They're in the drone line. They get 4 or 5 drones there, and also they see the Baneling Nest. The scouting comes from the Hellions here. Oh, a massive scout here from MMA. But scouting and knowing is half the battle. He's got to get his defense ready. He's got to prepare back at home.
Well, I don't think it'll be too hard for him to do that, Apollo. That was great scouting, being able to see what's going on. Will Life still do it? It looks like he may, in fact. He's making 22 Zerglings. He may just go all in.
Does MMA know exactly what he's playing against? He saw the Baneling Nest, but he's added on double engineering bay. There are no bunkers coming in. He's seen the structure there.
Oh no.
He knows he's been scouted. He knows he's been exposed from the 3rd command center, but he's not preparing his defenses. Maybe he's not exactly sure what this is.
MMA absolutely must start bunkers right now, or Life has a great chance of breaking through and winning the World Championships. 22 more lings on the way.
Oh,
he's not pulling any punches here.
Here comes a bunker, but a little bit too late here. There's only 1, and that is not going to be enough. There's no really late production. He's playing so greedy. The Hellions, they see 1 circle, but they don't see the rest. He really doesn't know what's going on.
Uh-oh, that is so many Banelings to be morphing, Apollo.
The Hellions miss it again, and Life is moments away here from being the champion. If this works, he's going to cast a flood. Oh, he sees the Zerglings here, but the Banelings, MMA now knows what's going on, but does he have the defense ready? He's got hardly any units.
Uh-oh, Apollo, here he comes. That's a lot of Banelings, and it looks like he's going to be able to crash this one in a matter of seconds. The Hellions coming from behind, trying to surround these Marines. The Banelings going up this ramp, but there's so little defense from MMA.
The SCVs are running away, but there's Banelings chasing them here. He's going to try and break through into the main base. There's a good detonation to the north here. Life is bringing it to MMA right now. He's going to push through here, and once the rest of these Zerglings come through, can MMA make the hole? This is an incredibly tense moment right now. 3 Banelings about to morph.
Those 3 Banelings could be huge. They go up on 1 SCV, so that's not so good yet, but look at this.
There's nothing here.
MMA's SCVs going down. He's about to lose. And Life is your world champion of StarCraft 2.
Blizzard Cup 2012, and to the bottom left of Daybreak we have our Zerg player in a red, starting for Team StarTale, the best Zerg in the world right now. It is We all knew that Life is good, but we didn't know that it was that good.
Yeah. So I'm going to get this guy an LG sponsorship. The top right, in the blue, another StarTale player. You call him the Pink Panther Protoss. He is... Everyone says this guy's got unlimited soul.
Without a doubt, he's the best Protoss in the entire world right now.
He may be the best player in the world, man. He's trying to prove it here.
This is a match between 2 Titans, and it's going to be epic. What are they going to do? Are we going to see a standards game between the 2 of them? Is Parting going for the Immortal push? Everyone is waiting for it. Everyone wants to know, Will Life stop it? Does Life have the answer?
That's what we're going to see. You know, Life is showing his trademark 11 cancel, but he's going for the 11 pull here.
Exactly. The trademark cancel and then the 11 pull. And Parting, of course, is going to scout it. And this will also change his... Yeah, this will change his timings. And you know what's really interesting here? Parting is scouting on this map.
Yeah.
This is something, it might sound a little bit silly, but this is something that he did not do on Daybreak at all.
Yeah.
And Lenok was a player who tried to capitalize on it. He went for double hatch before pool without even scouting it because he knew exactly Parting doesn't send out his first probe. He sends one out a little bit later, but only to the Zalnaga watchtower.
Yeah, this is a different scheme. And yeah, now has to go Forge before Nexus. He can't go Nexus first. It's impossible to hold with that.
You know, this is so cool because this already shows us that they know each other so well. And Life was probably a little bit shocked to see this probe in his face. He's like, what? You're actually scouting? I mean, I'm still fine. I have an 11 pool. I can pressure you a little bit. Your timings are going to be ruined. But at this point, he did not really expect his opponent to go for the scout.
You know, at the very least, when you go for an early pool, like an 11 pool or a 10 pool, force the Forge first. And you may not actually do physical damage, but you are going to force their ability to be shaken a little bit.
It also shows how much respect Parting has for Life, because it shows him immediately that he knows that this guy has no respect for anyone, and he could go for a 6 pull even on this map. So he's like, okay, usually I don't do it, but against him, I have to.
Yeah, he's got no choice. There's the photon cannon going down, of course, and the gateway is going to need to make potentially a second gateway here to block. There's a pylon, or probe hiding in there. He's not going to make a pylon, but he will go and check to see if any gases have been taken.
The Lings are already on their way.
He's actually just splitting them here. He doesn't need the second gate.
He's blocking with a probe, and this is something that Life spots immediately. So it's like, okay, well, there's nothing that I can do at this point. The probe's still in the main base here. The hatch now at the natural for Life.
Yeah, he wants to see if there's any gas going off one base that he might need to be worried about.
Probe is on its way.
And speaking of which, he's going to see it. He's going to see that gas, and there's no third hatchery.
Sees the gas, no third hatch at this point.
And he's going to be able to see that too.
Yeah.
Oh man, Life is going to have to alter his build here. He may have been thinking of a speedlink follow-up to put on some pressure.
You know, the Zerglings were just not in a position where they could intercept the probe, so all the scouting information that the Parting has, it's all there. All the pieces to the puzzle, he has them, he knows no third base, but you go for gas. Look at that.
Yeah, he wants to be very, very careful here.
There are different styles that you can play. Life could go into mirrorless play. We'll see very soon when he starts his tech, if he adds the additional gas, if he even builds a few spine crawlers to just wait. If he goes into a faster build because he wants to be safe against an immortal push and decides to take the third base with the safety of the infestors.
He could just go into speed and then play it safe. These Lings have an opportunity to run in here, but he doesn't realize it.
Stargate.
Stargate is the choice. No immortals on game number 1.
And here comes the lair tech for his opponent. No scout on the Stargate. He doesn't know about it. So at this point, Life is really in the dark. He doesn't know what's going on. But with how fast he techs, he should be able to be completely prepared for this.
Yeah. With a third gas going up, it looks like we are going to see Phoenixes. Fourth gas goes down as well. Probably not Void Ray and Phoenix, but just straight hidden Phoenixes because he knows Life is not seeing a Stargate at all.
There comes the additional gas for Life now, and he has he's up to 4 extractors at this point. We don't see a third base for him just yet.
Oh, that's Sentry.
Interesting to see what exactly his tech transition is.
That was a scary moment for that Sentry, but he pulls back in time. Now, what's it going to be? Phoenix first, I assume? And yeah, Phoenix first, he's going to hide him.
I want to see what Life is going to do, because he could go into Spire, but the Infestors are the much safer option. Spire is something that you can make work on this map. We always reference Merchio against Creator, which was a really interesting series that we saw at BWC in Shanghai. But Life taking such a risk, I rather see him go into the Infestation video. And there it is.
He's also going to show the Phoenixes, interestingly enough. Despite the fact that Overlord did not see a Stargate earlier on, he's just going to go and show them. Rallying across the map, starts the second Phoenix. He's going to be able to scout with this, the Infestation Pit, and we'll be able to alter things accordingly. He's probably going to start his Robo very soon. There's the Lair Scout, and he sees the Infestation Pit as well.
With the Phoenixes, you have not only the option to just take down Overlords and kill a few drones, maybe even a Queen, but you can always get the scouting information, and they are important. He needs something to see what exactly is going on. So kills an Overlord here, nice micro on the Phoenixes so far by Parting, and all the scouting information. He doesn't know about the third yet, but he will.
Now he's going to find out. He flies by, he sees it. Now he knows, oh wow, that's a really late third, so as long as I hold your pressure with your investors at my third, I should be okay here. But without Colossi, it is going to be a little bit tough, because what will likely happen in the next few moments is Harding will take his third base, he'll start to wall it off and get cannons. No, actually, he's adding gateways in his main base, though, instead. He's not going to take a third right away. That's not what I expected.
Yeah, me neither. Usually with this style, when Harding decided to not go for the immortal push, we've seen him take a third base so often in this matchup. So he apparently really tries to go for a very strong two-base styling here. Takes down a few drones. Harvesters are not a problem, but loses one of the Phoenixes in the process.
Yeah, a bit overzealous from one of those Phoenixes. You know, I have to say, this is not going to be something that Life expects at all if he really hits with a heavy push.
And this is kind of what it's about. It's not only about playing a straight up style and playing the solid, but to surprise your opponent. These are mind games that we are seeing. These players know each other. They practice with each other. They've encountered each other countless times. And now with a different style, with the Harding using a different style here, that could be so important for him. But it looks like he's going for the third base after all. He's just playing it a lot more safe and later than he usually would.
Yeah, you know, what happens next is he'll take this base, he needs to wall it off, get a lot of cannons up there, and then when the investors come, they're going to realize that, hey, I've got a moment where I can maybe push my invested Terrans. That's where the Colossi come into play.
And he goes straight into the Twilight Council, which is of course so important. If you are really going for a style where you want to have a third base, you need to make sure that you have Blink. You also want to go for the +2 attack upgrade, but Blink is really important here. In case your opponent is trying to attack you, you need to be a little bit more mobile than you already are.
Yeah, very true. Observer for Colossus, in fact, that's very conservative by Harding. He wants to have all the vision in the world about what's coming. That Phoenix might be out of luck. Well, he needs to fumble that. He's not going to. He's just politely asking the Phoenix to leave. A few cannons go down here too. In fact, we're going to have a slight run by. That doesn't matter. There's a Zealot and a cannon. He will get that pylon, and one of the cannon had to be canceled.
Zealot is in hold position here, so no problem at all. The piling goes down, but that's it. Fourth base already for Life. And you know, Life at this point will be pretty confident in what happens here. We talked to him after Parting was able to win against Sniper, and I asked him, what exactly do you think about the Immortal push? And he said, oh wow, it's really, really strong. I actually think it's too strong. So that was the one thing that he was really worried about. I feel, even though Parting is like a boss in the end game as well, in the late game, this is a scenario that Life is much more happy to encounter.
You know, it feels like, to be perfectly frank here, it feels like when you face Parting's Immortal push, it's in the hands of Parting's sentries, whether you live or you die.
Yeah, and this is why we saw this different opening for Life. So now we have this wall that you already talked about, Wolf. We have the wall at the fourth base, at the third base. He's trying to go for it. At the same time now, the Spire to get the Corruptors out, and of course also to get the Brood Lords later on. This is the composition that you try to head into.
Yeah, and these are the Infestors that are moving across the map that I was talking about earlier as well. He wants to trade Infested Terran Energy for some really good, not fungals. He may get a fungal or two if he gets lucky, but he wants to try to take out units. Yeah,
this is the risk that you run. It's so risky if you actually do it. And
he's going to pick it up.
This is really smart. He sends one across, but he has to retreat with the rest of them.
Wow. He's going to lose 4 here potentially if the chase is good. Blink is almost done.
Yeah, those Phoenix have to be really careful, but here come the rest of the army, and the Infestors are dying. At least 2 additional ones. He will be able to take them out, no problem at all. This attack by Life did not work.
Yeah, a Phoenix for an Infestor is actually a pretty good trade in this type of situation. The Lings are coming for a run by, but the Zealot again is ready. He needs to protect that Colossus though. Nice blink forward. He's taking out so many Infestors. This is actually really critical. There are 2 cannons in place, but they're not walled off. They're very exposed.
The cannons are exposed. Swaps in a couple of units at the same time. More Infestors are dying, trying to save themselves with Infested Terrans. But here comes Parting. The force fields are good, shielding him against the Circlings. At home, he defends with those Stalkers. Well done by Parting so far.
Yeah, he needs to make sure he blinks those Stalkers back, of course, at the third base. He does. Saves them. And now he's got a really strong army going in here. The thing is, he's down in supply, but I feel his composition is perfect until those Corruptors get out. He's got a window. Will he use it to attack, or will he use it to take a fourth? He's got a choice here.
He's going to fall back and just try and hit a bit of a timing later against the Brood Lords, I think. At this point, we don't even have the hive tech.
Colossus is rallied poorly here. He's going to lose it for free.
That was not good.
This was a problem against Violet that we saw with his Colossi rallies.
Dungalov. Well, right now, we have the rest of the army going straight for the fourth base. Parting trying to apply pressure, but the Zerglings are running in.
This is not good for Parting. He's got enemies on both sides. The Lings from the back, slowing him down, so the Roaches can do some damage here, but it's not quite enough. He needs to fall back.
He doesn't have a lot of sentries. Wolf, he can't use too many force fields. He needs to fall back, and that's what he does. Only 2 sentries in the composition. Tries to fall back here, but he still has such a huge army supply. He has a damage potential.
He needs another round of Warpins. Imagine if that Pilot had knocked on down the Lings. Imagine if he had one more Colossus here. This would have been a much scarier army.
There come the additional sentries that he has. Warping them in right now.
The Corruptors are all that life really has to hold here.
He can force field the ref. He's actually killing the rocks, but if he wants to go for the fourth base, he had a chance to just force field the ref and go in.
You know, he could even go into the natural and then force some units out, but he decides to blink in. This is actually a really good angle for life, but does he have enough units? That's the question.
Parting is fungal, but he's fighting like a lion here against those Corruptors. It's not easy. Being fungal, he can't use his Smite to save the Colossi, but a lot of Life's units are already dead, and Life is dropping its supply. Parting taking his supply lead.
He's got that forward pylon as well. He's got a great position here. He needs more stock as he warps him, and he needs to protect that pylon. He blinks back. Looks like the pylon is barely going to survive.
6 infestors, that's all that Life has right now, and here comes Parting. He has so many stalkers against this few spike colors. It's not a problem for him at all.
GG! Parting takes the lead, takes game 1.
It is the Blizzard Cup 2012, the grand final. We have a Zerg versus Protoss, and starting at the bottom of the map is our StarTale Zerg player. It is Life. We just learned in the break how important those ID calls are.
Yes, it's very important. Making fun of the KT old LT War commercials, man. I see those in commercials all the time. It's actually a great parody. And there's the mouse. See it? Looks nice. And there's the man himself. The Royal Roader of GSL. His opponent, his teammate, the Protoss in the blue to the top of the map. He is
Parting, man, the guy who won already the first map on Daybreak with a good performance. This time he's up against his opponent Antigua Shipyard. A map that kind of symbolizes what Zerg versus Protoss is all about these days.
Oh, absolutely, man.
We talked about it earlier. In the early game, Zerg with an early advantage, Protoss with an early advantage, and then later on it's the Zerg who has a high win ratio if he gets those Broodlords out. And no other map has, I feel, split Zergs and Protoss as Antigua Shipyard. In the early game, so strong, an immortal push, a 2-base time against the 3rd base of a Zerg player if he goes for this double expand, and then later on, really, really difficult for Protoss to take his 3rd base and defend it. Parting has done it in the past, might do it again, but maybe he shows us his trademark style in game number 2.
I actually completely agree. You know, Antigua Shipyard shows like the rawest, most extreme version of what our metagame is like in this matchup in 2012. We have a hatchery first, by the way, for Life, and you know, Parting doesn't seem to be scouting, so he's not going to be able to punish this in any way.
Parting learned his lesson against Leenock on Daybreak, but on this map in particular, he's like, well, I don't have to send out my probe right away. You're not going to do anything fancy. I don't see you opening with an early push here. But Parting is up against a hatch first now, and usually you don't get away with this because your opponent might cannon rush you. But right now, Life will have his pool ready and the Zerglings as well.
He's going to start his 3rd base, and because there was no scout from Parting, he's unable to deny neither the 3rd nor the 2nd base. And you know, this is an interesting position for Parting now. We talked about how this map is so dangerous in the early game for Zerg, especially once that probe knows about the 3rd base. There's several different builds we can see. We can see the Immortal push, we can see the Void Ray push, we can see a push followed on 2 bases after Phoenix play. That 3rd is so difficult for a Zerg player to defend without creep spread there, and even if your creep is spread there, that ramp, if the Protoss gets up there and shuts you out, you've got no chance.
Yeah. Scouting is everything here, and one of the things that you could see is that the 2nd Overlord for Life immediately positioned itself between the 3 bases, so you could see a probe coming in. Some Zerg players try to send the Overlord over to their opponent's base, trying to get a 2nd scout into position so that later on they can get into the main base and discover what kind of tech their opponent shows, and that's what he's going to do with another Overlord now. But the first Overlord, with the build that he was going for, the early expansion without the pool, that was so crucial to see when is this probe coming. What can the probe do? And do I have to send out a drone to stop it?
Exactly. Here come the Lings, by the way, into the natural. He's trying to hold position them to do a little bit of damage. He's got to avoid that cannon. Look at that perfect placement by Parting. Yeah, if he wants to mine with a little bit more than that many probes, he's going to have to micro, but he should be okay here.
Nice. Tricky. I like it.
2 Zerglings, that's the same cost as 1 probe stops 3 probes from mining.
It's very, very subtle.
Yeah, it's subtle, but it's extremely important. Look at how much damage, how much frustration he's already starting to cause. Parting says he skipped his zealot.
Wow, he's really killed one.
Yeah.
He's really messing with Parting now.
Oh,
and Parting goes for the robo. Uh-oh.
Now this is just the first step.
Yeah, it's only step number 1, but still.
Now Parting does not know the angle of approach with the Overlord either. He does take his 3rd assimilator. Oh, this is tense, Calder. What's he going to make first when that robo's done? This is when everything changes. He's got +1 on the way.
And he started the robo before he starts +1, which is usually an indicator that you go for the Immortal push.
Yes.
And, well, Protoss players all around the world are just now hoping to see an Immortal as soon as the robotics is done and not an Observer.
Yep. We're going to find out. No units lost at all for Parting at this moment in time.
Nothing.
Robo is finishing. What's it going to be, Parting? I think it's an Immortal, and it is!
It is an Immortal. He's going for the Immortal push.
Oh, this is so difficult to hold, especially on this map. Life is the teammate of Parting. He's probably practiced against Parting's Immortal push more than anybody else, but this is still not going to be easy. This Ling run by could affect things a lot.
The Ling run by trying to affect the gas here, but what is Life doing against the push now? He's already spreading his creep at the 3rd base. Very important to make sure that the Protoss can't place a pylon in the vicinity, that he has to rely on the Warp Prism, can't use it for the micro. This is something that Parting has shown against Sniper, and Sniper really struggle against this. So spreading your creep, making sure that there is no close pylon is really important. Yeah. And also it gives you the speed advantage that you need to set up your flanks, that you can just delay the push for as long as possible.
This is actually really cool. This is what you need to do to limit Parting's sentry count. As long as he can't mine his gas, he can't build the sentry count that he needs. He may have to use a force field. No, decides to pull back. Again, right now, he doesn't know though. Life doesn't know what push he's about to face. He's about to find out. That's what that Overseer is for.
The Overlord is in, and for his opponent, we have now speed. Life is starting with the Zergling speed, with the Roach speed. He's getting the Roaches. He has all the pieces in position. He sees the Immortals.
Those sentries better turn around right now. He's got no time to lose. He needs to go ASAP, setting up the double wall.
Look at the creep spread here. 3rd Immortal is ready. Wolf, I certainly hope that you have your ticket for the Parting Express, because the Soul Train is about to leave the station.
It's moving out right now. He's got the triple pylon wall, so even if his natural is breached, the main base will be safe. He's very committed. He's got no turning back now. That group of Lings is not enough to turn him around. He cannot waste time. He needs to protect those sentries, but he needs to keep going.
Sniper lost against this. Sniper did not have an answer. Does Life crush Parting's push, or will he also die? We will see the 2-0. Parting is on the move. Sniper is preparing.
Life is a genius, man. He knows that on this map, you can't actually stop that assimilator from being killed with the normal cannon placement that you have on this map. He's going to lose a Stalker here as well. And this is so smart.
He takes down the assimilator. He makes sure that there's not enough gas for Parting to later on warp in those units. And look how many sentries he has once again. He has a high sentry count. The creep spread is good. The Zerglings are being built. The speed is done. Range attack is nearly completed.
He's got everything in his favor, but can he stop those force fields that have been such a problem for every Zerg player that Parting has run up against?
He did not really spread his creep at the 3rd, and here come the force fields. The pylon is already being built.
He needs to pull those sentries back.
He's going in, he's trying to force additional force fields, and here we go, and there is the gap. We immediately have the trapped roaches, and they are taken apart, but on the other hand, the reinforcements for Life are streaming in.
I don't think those force fields could have been any more perfect, Calder. Look at this, he's even got the Observer out now, takes out a Tumor, and those rocks are going to die if he gets up to the top of that ramp. I feel like Life has little to no chance of holding this. Here he goes, needs to walk up that ramp right now.
If he walks up the ramp, then suddenly Parting will be able to use the force fields to block both
Life
ramps.
goes for a counterattack, it looks like, or at least catching reinforcements he can find. He will get this pylon.
And look at it, he already pulls the drones back. He's like, okay, I might lose my expansion here, but I still will have my drone count. And the pylon goes down, another one already being built, and Parting is pushing his way into the natural, or is he?
Yeah, he's just waiting a little longer. He wants to make sure he has that pylon up. We talked about it before, but that pylon is so critical. And without the pylon, you can't use the Warp Prism to lift your Immortals. You have to actually micro without it.
He has 13 sentries. This is so many force fields. If you have Infestors against this, you just see them pop like pimples, but we don't have Infestors. We have Roaches, we have Zerglings, and once again, those force fields are brilliant.
Harding is the Warp Prism pilot here. He's dropping the Immortals out. This is looking so scary because the production is severely affected by the fact he doesn't have that third hatch. He has no macro hatch, and he's got Roaches dying already. He can't afford to lose these without force fields being dropped. 2 more Roaches go down.
And
Life, get yourself together.
The third base is done, and here comes Parting with the force fields. They are brilliant, and they trap everything. The supply is dropping for the StarTale Zerg plays down to 120, and Parting with the patience that he is known for. He's moving slowly
He takes
up
the
the
lead in
ramp.
supply, and he's going to be able to take out these Roaches. The Overlords are in danger as well.
GG! The Soul Chain defeated Life in game number 2. But his opponent was already a step ahead of him. Is this also true for Cloud Kingdom? Starting to the bottom left, we have in blue the one and only Soul Train Conductor.
Party, party. Party, party.
He is the conductor, the winner of all tournaments in Asia the past month. He is just looking fine, man. No matter who he's up against, no matter what strategy he uses, he seems to be unstoppable. Again, totally skips on the forage. He goes for the scout. And in fact, we don't have the cooldown just yet. He's going to drop it very soon. He can't really try to drop a hatchery when the probe's already here. And there's the pool.
He goes for the pool, but actually I think that he was toying around with the idea a little bit.
Yeah, he
until
definitely
he saw the
considered
probe.
it. Yeah, it was a little bit later of a pool.
Well, at this point, Parting is already up 2 games, and if he is able to get another win here, then he only has to win one additional map to win the entire finals. And Life, he is in trouble, and he knows it. Parting has shown over and over again that he can beat Zergs, and as mentioned before, in the MLG tournament that they just had recently, they played a best of 5, and Parting, yeah, he won it without dropping a single map with a 3-0. So Life, I hope that his nerves are actually holding, that he's not in a position where he feels like he can't beat this guy.
Look at the average playtime for Parting versus Zerg, 17 minutes and 12 seconds. That goes to show you that even though he does this push a lot, that kind of shows that a lot of his games are also really long. 17 minutes and 12 seconds, there's probably like 2 games that Parting has ever played at that length. He plays a lot of games with the Immortal Push and a lot of games in the super late game with 4, sometimes 5 bases with the Mothership. So both extremes are possible, and that's something that Life knows. Their teammates, he's got a lot of experience with this, but it doesn't make it any easier.
And Life now, he has to come up with a solution, and maybe on this map he is going to find one, but it's a decent map for Protoss. This is a map that Hero would choose every single time he's down against a Protoss player. In the Blizzard Cup, we've witnessed him picking this map, I think, 3 or 4 times even. Yeah. So right now, what is Parting going to do? It's a good map for the Immortal Push, it's a good map for the late game. He has so many options here.
You know, sometimes you see Stargate play here too. I feel like it's the least likely strategy. Most of the time you either see an Immortal push 4 and Immortal take the 3rd. Nice block here, waiting for that cannon. He wants to save the probe, not quite able to do so. That means he's not going to be able to do a follow-up scout.
Yeah. So he does not really know about the 3rd base. He can of course assume that it... Well, actually there was a probe.
Yeah, he's got a probe there. That was just the probe that was to block, I suppose.
Yeah.
Consider though, only MC really goes Stargate on this map. I don't think we're going to see Phoenixes here. We have seen it before.
He actually played it as well.
Yeah.
We've seen Parting use the strategy too. It's more common to go into the robotics here, but we could see a Stargate for him. I feel, you know, so far his strategy I think is not going to evolve around going into an Immortal Push right away again, so I could see a Stargate. If I personally was him, I was just, in this situation, being had 2 games, I would just Immortal Push for as long as I possibly could. Up to the point where Life defeats me once, and then I would probably
Exactly. See, it's just about that one time, because later on we do have Abyssal City, we do have Belcher Vestige. That's a map you might want to use the Immortal Push on later. That pylon is probably...
true, actually.
That's probably where we're going to see our tech. Here comes the probe. What's it going to be? Robotics!
He's going for the Robo again before the +1 attack upgrade.
This is intense. I feel like he's just going to do the Immortal Push again, like you said, until it fails now.
And now it's, of course, the ball is once again in Live's court. What exactly are we going to see from Parting? We will see in a second what he decides to do with the robotics. We've seen him go into a play where he tries to take the third base with the additional Templar Archive. Sorry, of course, the Twilight Council.
Right.
But Live knows that it's an option, that there might be an Immortal push coming, and there's the +1 attack upgrade. So what is he going to do? Is he changing things? Will we at some point maybe see a very fast tech for him?
That's entirely possible. I would not be surprised.
You know, there have been several ways how you can approach this. We had a lot of Zerg players trying to... There's the Immortal, so we will see the choo-choo train again. A lot of Zerg players try to hit Mutalisk timings, Infestor timings. You can go for a job play with force fields to just make sure that force fields don't matter. Most of the time, Protoss are pretty happy about that because you just drop the units one by one into the army. And players like Mana, for example, pointed out several times when they were playing in the GSL that this is something that they're really happy with because then they can take their opponent's army down quite easily if they do it correctly, if they target well. So there are a lot of options what you can go for. And these days, what Zergs try to do is flank and counterattack.
Yeah.
But it looks like Protoss is just too prepared for it.
Yeah, people have really figured out how to deal with that. A lot of people going for the double walls like we saw last game, or oftentimes multiple cannons. We have double evolution chamber. That's a pretty big variation here. But that's not something that's really going to be helpful against this type of push necessarily. He goes for speed. Okay, so he's actually going to go Infestors this time to try to hold. I say try to hold, but he doesn't even know what's coming yet.
At this point, he completely skips the roaches. He wants to go into a heavy circling style. And this might be the answer that he needs here. He will be faster with his units. He can bounce between flanking and going into a counterattack. And he knows, of course, that with this strategy, he needs he needs more lava. So he goes into the macro hatch as well. And as you pointed out, the Infestors. And let's talk a little bit about what we've seen in the last game against Sniper. Massive amount of sentries and a double funnel on the sentries, and as I said before, they pop like pimples. You can take them out and all of them will die. This is so much resources lost. If he gets a double funnel, Parting cannot continue.
Counter, I think that this may work, and it's not going to be easy, but this is the first Zerg brave enough to try it in this entire tournament. No one has tried it.
He's trying to buy time for his upgrades. He needs the 1-1. He's trying to bait force fields, but Parting is patient.
Parting is super patient, man.
Look at those links. 30 links being built. He has so many already. Here comes the Pathogen Lance upgrade, and he's buying time. Every second counts.
Parting knows what's going on. He knows this is a link-heavy play where Infestors are going to be the choice, so he knows he needs to hit this timing. Those Lings not trading very efficiently, but they do slow some of the Zealots down.
And Parting plays with a lot more Zealots than he usually would because he sees what he's up against. But the +1-1 upgrades are going to be done soon, and so far Parting has not moved in. The Infestors are already on the production tab. I feel like Life might be able to take this.
He might be able to do it, man. He might do the unthinkable.
But can he defend his third?
I don't think he's going to hold the third, but he's got the macro hatch, so he can let this go.
He doesn't even want to take save the third. He already built all those spine crawlers at his natural.
Yeah, he's just going to let the third go.
And the Infestors already will. Look at how beautiful this timing is. Pathogen Plants finishes, and a second later we have the Infestors.
Parting needs to walk away. If he actually tries to walk into those spine crawlers with Infestors, he's going to watch his Immortals flash before his eyes. He needs to walk away.
This is Life. He has everything. Oh, what a beautiful funnel from the high ground.
He needs that Warp Prism for vision. The spine crawler finishes, Infestor pops. Those Zealots are actually not going to really accomplish too much. He wants to target down an Infestor. Nice micro.
Can he get the second funnel? He needs more funnels here. The spine crawler is doing the damage. One funnel hits. He is ready. Those sentries, they pop, and now suddenly Parting is in a little bit of trouble. He still has the same supply. He has a lot of units on the high ground, but can he deal with those Infestors?
He is losing Zealots to the spine crawlers in the front. He's not microing as well as he could be. A lot of invested energy has already been used, though.
We only have 2 of them left.
I think he may hold here.
The Zerglings have to take down the Immortals, though, before they kill all the spine crawlers. That's the scary part here. He's trying to get more units in. The supply lead is for Life, but for how long?
Yeah, for how long? The spine crawlers are going down. The Infestors are exposed. More Zealots morphing, and he needs them for the Zerglings. A great choice here. But those things have 1-1. He needs to fight for the Immortals back. Where's the Warp Prism?
The sentries are gone. The sentries are gone. And now suddenly there comes another funnel. The Queens are trying to move in. Where are the Zerglings? They close the distance. The Zealots, they die. And Parting, he might lose here. He only is at 70 supply.
He needs to pull that Immortal back.
He does not really have anything to reinforce those Immortals to support them. Finally a round of 4 wins. But is that enough?
He doesn't have that many hit points left on that Warp Prism either, so he's got to be careful. If he loses it, the Immortals can't be microed like this anymore.
Hardy knows that the follow-up is going to be very, very difficult for him at
this is so
point.
smart. He's just going to avoid. He uses the elevator trick here. He just avoids the spike as he goes to the main.
He goes in the main, which opens him up against the surround. Here comes another
There's too many
bundle.
roaches, I feel.
The roaches now finally joining the battle. They can take down the Zealots and the Immortals. There are 2 left, but can they close the distance?
He doesn't need to be fighting that queen. He needs to be fighting the roaches.
The big problem for him is there are no sentries anymore.
He has 2,000 gas right now.
Oh my god, the Immortals, they survive. But now we have a lead in Harvester Supply for life. He has pushed his opponent back. He has the tech that he needs. And Parting is trying to transition. He's in a position where he realized, I can't kill him. I cannot kill him. I have to transition. Robotics, Spay, and Twilight Council.
He's trying to transition here, but I feel like this is an uphill climb that's going to be impossible. The macro hatch alone gives him so much production. If he gets these Immortals lost at all, he loses everything. That hatchery survives with 29 hit points, by the way.
The macro hatch here important for him, and now is the time of life. He tries to move in, and he tries to, of course, deny this third base. He will get his own, and there it is, the hatch being placed down. Whoa, this is so close.
This is tense, and Parting he's got no real advantage in this game to hold on to except his gas.
But at the same time, Life stopped the Immortal push, but he hasn't won the game yet.
Yeah. And those Immortals are still doing work here. Life actually has to turn around. Also, armor is on the way, and we have Blink now. He's going to try to hold the third base using these Colossi. Is he just going to go for a follow-up attack? That's also a possibility.
I mean, he could. Life is even double expanding here. He knows that at this point, he has the lava, he has also the drones, but he needs the additional mineral patches. He needs to saturate more bases.
That's so many sentries, but he's got the gas to afford it. He actually warped in so many Zealots in that fight to fight the Zerglings. He built up the gas.
The big problem for Parting is, let's say for Life, is that he doesn't have a Spire. He doesn't have an answer to Colossi just yet. He needs to rely on those roaches and then on the fungals. So if Parting decides to push, he needs to be careful that he doesn't get fungled, especially with the sentries. But the big advantage for him are the Colossi. On the other hand, this is also true for him just defending the third base, which he tries to do here.
He's got those pylons to do a little bit of harassment as well. For example, I feel he could have, if he wanted to, warped in some units to attack that fourth base, but it's a bit too risky at this point. He can't afford to throw minerals away like that, not until he has his third base.
You know, with those extra bases for Life, if he gets the gas count up, he can transition into the Hive Tech. He already has the Infestation Pit. He has 10 Infestors on the map. He does not have to kill it now. Moving in now would, in my opinion, be taking too much of a risk, because if the force fields are good, he might lose his army.
I don't think he expects there to be this many sentries up here, but there are so many, and he can't break up against. It's not with the cannons finishing as well. The Observer sees everything. He wants to try it though. This is a big risk.
It's a huge risk, but he takes it. He wants to take him out now. He wants to take it because he gets too dangerous. The Colossus is fungal. He can't move, and the Colossus, it is dead. And now suddenly there's no answer for the Zerglings and the Roaches anymore. So many Infestors.
Blink isn't done. Now it finishes.
The third base, he doesn't cancel it. Will he save it? It doesn't look like it.
I don't think so, man. I think Life is going to take his first game in this series right now.
Life takes down the Nexus. He dodges the force fields, attacks from 2 angles, and he takes the Colossus down immediately. Those Zerglings can still do the damage, and now Parting is suddenly up against a huge army, against a 4-based Zerg player. And well, let's be honest about it. Life now completing the Greater Spire. This gives him another angle against Colossi.
Yeah, Parting
sorry, the Spire, of course. Greater Spire, he wishes, but not yet.
Not yet, but he will have it pretty soon if things continue this way. Parting is actually just trying to do his best to stay alive. He's hanging by a thread of a thread right now in this game. He loses, of course, that Roach Life does to that Blink, but he's up 50 supply. He has all the bases. He's got all the tech. Still could see some Warpins.
Arcan's, of course, now a really good choice against the Zerglings. This is just so important for him to make the right choices now. But Life has such a lead in this game. He's not only 50 supply up, he has the creep spread, he has the 4 bases. And Parting didn't use those pylons. You pointed them out earlier with top left double pylon that he could use for attempted harassments, but he can't really use them. Life doesn't give him the room to breathe.
Yeah, I feel like Parting actually might not make any more Colossi. Think about that. If a ton of Corruptors get made before Brewlords, so of course Corruptors can be useful for Brewlords even if you have a surplus of them, but what if he attacks before Brewlers are ready with only 1 Colossus, with 21 Stalkers and 3 Archons. He's building a pretty good composition if there's an overmake on the Corruptors. This is a great scout. You can see the composition with this Zealot.
And call me crazy, but there was no Hive Tech just yet. So Life is not going into the Broodlords after all. He's just, there it is. I was already worried for him. I was like, okay, are you really trying to take him down right now? I mean, he has the army, don't get me wrong. But the follow-up, that's something that he also needs just in case.
The Infestors are so key because even though there's only 1 Colossus, that means he has an over-saturation of Corruptors. He still has those Infestors, and without the Colossi, how is he going to deal with those Infestors?
And here we go, the Lynx closing the distance. The blink away, the Archon exposed, a lot of infested Terrans, the Colossus is gone.
Pulling back against the infested Terrans. But, you know, the damage output here for Life just seems way too much.
Oh my god, this is such a huge amount of damage output, and there's the GG! Starting to the top left is our Zerg player in red, starting of course for Team StarTale. The hope for all the Zerg players out there, yes.
Tati live.
Showed a 6 pull on this map. Not going to be doing it today though.
He was up against the Immortal push. Zerg players were looking how to beat it, and Life, as they say, Life always finds an answer.
Certainly does. He's got to find more answers though against his teammate. The Frost player to the bottom right. Is he unstoppable? Let's find out. He is.
Tati.
Not invincible as shown in last game.
Not invincible, but still in the lead. Still in a position where he is ahead, 2-1. This 4th game might change things though. It's a big map, and it's cross position. This is like, okay, well, if anyone in the entire world can pull off an Immortal push against Zerg on cross position, well, when it's party.
Yeah.
But I think not even he is gonna try it.
I don't think so, man. That would be crazy.
That's like the worst map and the worst positions ever to go for an Immortal push.
He goes even Forge first here. You know, if he goes Forge first on this map, it's a little bit scary if you don't scout your opponent right away. It's hard just to see what spawning location your opponent's at, and also if he scouts a hatch first, which is a little bit more common on this map, he might be able to punish it.
And while we have those build orders just evolve in front of us, unfold, let's once again give a big of a shout out here to the players, and I want all of you guys, all the Zerg fans out there, all the Protoss fans out there, to add them on Twitter or at least send them a tweet. Their accounts are for Parting, ST_Parting, and for his opponent for Life, it's actually StarTale_Life. So add the 2 of them. They definitely deserve your support, and send them a tweet. Tell them that you cheer for them. Also make sure that you add the 2 of us at ProxyWolf and at Calder, and tweet at StarCraft, the Blizzard account, that you really appreciate this tournament.
Yeah, and also, of course, hashtag the GSL. It's the easiest hashtag to make. It's the shortest one. It's one we always use for these finals. Hashtag it, talk about it, get it trending, and make sure that all your friends who follow you on Twitter who are non-StarCraft people know this is going on. You can even post on Facebook about it.
It's the finals, guys.
It is indeed, that much is for certain. Now, you can see the win rates here for Parting at certain intervals in the game. The late game is one of his strongest, as is the early game. That's what I was talking about earlier. That's why he kind of has that middle ground where he wins most of his games.
3rd base now coming up for Life. And Parting, well, he has to change his build a little bit on this map. We've even seen a Stargate on this map, which is usually something that a lot of players try to avoid and rather go into the 3rd base right away. Reason being that the map is just so big that it takes an eternity for you to arrive at your opponent's base, at least if it's cross position.
Yeah, very true. Probe scouting away. And, you know, at this moment in time, we have to wait, of course, for that core to finish. It's just started.
We don't have any gas for Life yet, so right now he's playing a bit more this really heavy economy style where you want to get into the macro game and then overwhelm your opponent later on. And this is exactly what we could see here. If Parting isn't careful, he's going to be up against a Zerg player who's not only on 3 but soon on 4 bases. Will have a massive economy, getting his tech up, getting a huge amount of units. And the problem that you have is if you really walk out on the map with a timing attack as a Protoss player, there are so many ways where, in so many positions where a Zerg player can surround you. So it's very difficult to pull that off. I feel this is one of the toughest maps for Protoss now.
Yeah, this is a map where we're probably going to see a 3-base timing attack. I feel like this map is the one where most often Protoss players take a third early but don't use it to attack. I think this robotics is going to be for an expand, but it is the tech of choice. If he decides to go for an immortal push with this, it would be crazy. With the way he's rallied it, looks like it's going to be for an observer.
A lot of Zerg players actually argue that on a map like Whirlwind, especially with the cross position, it's already a little bit too big, especially when you try to go into, for example, Broodlords. It's really difficult because your Broodlords are so slow, and if your opponent plays it well, then suddenly he can harass you with a Warp Prism with speed. He can try to just run around your army and hit your base, and you have to kind of find out if you want to defend or attack. So one of the plays that we could also see are, for example, Mutalisks. Not that common, but still an option.
Yeah, it's more common on maps like this, like Tal'Darim Altar, like Whirlwind. They're big and open. We have Observer first. So don't be alarmed, Zerg fans. This is not going to end early. This is actually going to be a third base for parting.
We don't see him here with any kind of immortal shenanigans. This is something that he just can't pull off here. We have him straight ahead. His opponent, by the way, that's the immortal after all, but this is going to be a third base. He's going to add the Twilight Council, and we will see a third base. I cannot see him push out with an immortal push.
No,
that would be suicidal.
It's not going to happen, especially not with the Observer.
The timings are also not really working for him, and as you can already see, Life is there with the Scouts, does have the Overlords, he's going into the tech, and there's the Twilight Council for parting. So right now he's going immediately for the blink. He's going to try to get himself the third base up.
Yep, he's going to go for it. He's going to be able to get so many different tech paths going for him once he gets that third base up and gets those 6 gases going for him. But for now, it's really important for Life to not overreact. He's going for the double evolution chambers again, but this time, of course, with Roach support.
Exactly, he has the Roaches right now. He skipped them on Cloud Kingdom because it was a very different strategy that he was trying to hit there. But now we have the Roaches for him. He has speed as well, and there's the third base. Third base for parting. To the left, something that he scouted, of course, he saw with the Zergling, not the structure itself, but he saw the move out, and he will confirm with the rest of his units.
Yep, here they come walking across the map. 5 Roaches. He wants to put a little bit of pressure on while he gets that infestation pit, so he keeps Parting's attention off of him, but he's not going to really commit to this attack because he knows it's a little bit of a risk, especially with this many sentries. He actually runs all the way in here. He's going to get out, though, as soon as he sees those sentries.
He runs in, and here come the cannons now, trying to secure it as fast as possible. 61 harvesters already against 55, and the infestation pit nearly done, but Life still applying pressure here.
Yeah, he snipes a cannon without a cancel there. And the Roaches are actually coming in from another angle, so he's trying to hit this attack where he really throws Parting off, but with an immortal here, it's not going to be able to work.
Yeah.
He tries.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, he goes for it. You know, he just is like, okay, well, maybe you leave your main open. And if you do, if I can get into your natural or into your main base, then I have such a nice momentum going for myself. I can just macro it up behind this, and you suddenly have to deal with this aggression.
We're seeing a third evolution chamber, and this is not for Vipers and Heart of the Swarm. No. This is so he can get 3 upgrades at once. That's a lot of gas, but it's going to pay off in the long run, especially because the Broodlings, he's got the ability to use the Broodlings. Yep. He's got the Zerglings, and then later on, of course, the Infestor can drop the Infestor Terrans. They'll get the missile upgrades with the Roaches.
We just have him this time going into the fourth base. He has the economy, and he really tries to play this very, very upgrade heavy, as you already pointed out. And on the production tab, we now have all these upgrades that we just talked about. Armor +1 attack for the Roaches, the +1 attack upgrade for the Zerglings, speed, pathogen glands, Infestors. He is really in a position where he knows, Parting, you can't move out. You're taking your third base right now. There is no option for you to be aggressive. So I get all my upgrades. I skip a little bit on the units. I only get the energy units out. And as soon as I see that you really attack, then I can build the units that I need to defend.
Yeah. So you have 4 gates at the 4th base here. You know, is he really going to try to make this one work?
I don't think that he's trying to attack right now. He will wait for his side.
Yeah, well, he's adding 2 gates. I think he is going to attack off the 3 base, though, for sure. It's just, you know, he has shown crazy late game on open maps in the past, but on this map, he's just asking for trouble if he really wants to take that 4th base. I respect his decision to go for the timing attack here.
I would go for a timing attack if I was him. I would be very uncomfortable playing against Life in the late game when he has all the options and all the tech up. So hitting before there's an option for the Zerg player to get his Hive and everything up, I think that's the right choice. But Life is now pushing out. He has a lot of units and he wants to claim the middle of the map. He has already the Lynx and the Roaches on their way. Parting with a lot to defend here, though.
Yeah, and I feel like with that Fleet Beacon, well, he starts Stargate first, of course. with the Stargate coming out, it indicates he is very willing to go into a 4th base on this map, which is pretty crazy to me. That's very brave. +3 coming out here. He's got that Colossus. Try to help zone out here. A good funnel though on those sentries. He needs a few more.
Nice trapping one of the infestors. And you can just see how Parting prepares for everything. The Spire is up, but as already mentioned, the Stargate is not only on production tab, it's nearly done. And the Fleet Beacon will follow soon. So Parting on those 3 bases, already going into the Mothership again. This will help him later on, again, get the energy out earlier. But he has to defend here first.
Yep, and the force fields are pretty good here. The Roaches can't quite get through, although invested Terran energy is just going to be dropped, pretty useless.
Really good force fields here, and he forces Life back. Life is now on the retreat, and Parting, so far, has done a really good job with his defense. He has the 3 bases, he did not lose too much here, and now we have suddenly the
Fleet Beacon.
The Fleet Beacon up, exactly. With the Fleet Beacon now, he can get everything that he needs. He can get the Mothership out, and this is just so cool for him. Both of them playing really, really well in this game.
That Overlord finally taken out is actually going to supply block Life just a little bit here. Another pylon going down here as well. Now, Parting just needs to keep his cool until that Mothership is out. If he really wants to take a 4th base, he is really going to have to make sure he has observers like he does right now.
And there it is.
Scatter across the map, and he's just going to do it. Yeah. On this map, he is going to take a 4th base on Whirlwind.
He takes the 4th, he is happy with the defense at his 3rd base, takes the 4th now. We have him with double Colossus, a lot of Stalkers. He already has the Colossi as well. And now we have him with a Mothership on the production tab. Where Life just now starts his own hype attack.
Yeah. Trying to snake around here with his Roaches. A few Roaches get trapped on the left side. Roaches are not the concern. They're just a temporary annoyance for him right now while he tries to get this 4th up. He loses 3 structures without a cancel, but it's worth it to keep his Nexus alive.
Good force fields, trapping a lot of Roaches. Again, this is kind of what we see from Parting the entire time. Blink forward, he's trying to chase them down. He's trying to get them right now, blinks after them, but then does not want to overcommit here. There's always the risk of running into infestors and being fungal.
Exactly. Now that Mothership is halfway done, there's a big Ling force. He continues to produce Lings. 24 additional Lings coming in here. He actually runs to the left side. But everywhere, Parting has such good cannon coverage.
Parting is everywhere with his observers, with his cannons, just with the structures in general. He has such a good defense, and Life lost so many more resources than his opponent. He has the better mining in general because of his earlier bases that he has, but this is just not easy for him to pull off. He's running against the wall every single time.
Yeah, Templar Archives coming up now, and of course this means that he will be able to get those Archons out for the Archon Toil. The Mothership itself is not just there to look pretty and to cloak units, it's there to get that Vortex off, and you need that AoE damage in the Vortex to make it worth your while.
Greater Spire now on its way. Charge. Twilight Council is already done.
All the pieces of the puzzle.
Exactly. It's just both players are just trying to set their chess pieces into a position and go for the checkmate.
And this is a pretty good position for Parting. He starts to clear up some of this creep. This is really important on a map of this size. He needs to make sure he does not get flanked. Beautiful force fields. Never a wasted force field. Look at those hexes. They're perfect.
Yeah, they are really, really perfect. They are fantastic force fields, a fantastic micro by Parting throughout the entire series.
Just both players, you know, even with the good forces, he still grabbed those Stalkers, then tries to grab them again. Parting is on top of it, immediately pulling back.
And both of them just working at this bank now, going for 3,000 minerals even for Life. I'm a little bit surprised that we don't have an extra base for Life. He wants to stay on 4 at this point. Another base would open him up a little bit against aggression, against harassment. But I feel that at some point he has to decide to go into a 5th or just for a massive aggression.
Yeah, I mean, the bank is starting to get really scary for Parting. He's also adding all these gateways, getting a second robotics, getting armor. He's getting all the tech upgrades, so as soon as he's got those, first 5 broods.
The Brood Lords are now dusting off 8 of them.
Mothership has been spotted as well. He needs to make sure he has some extra Corruptors out because he just morphed a ton of his Corruptors now into Brood Lords. This game just gets, the economy for both players just gets bigger and bigger.
Parting takes the 5th base before Life does.
That is pretty telling. He's actually going to throw these sentries away. That's fine. He needs more supply for damage-dealing units.
Even the armor upgrades are now being started. The speed upgrade for the War Prison. There we have the Robo, another on the tap. Both of them gearing up so hard now.
He's getting +1 for air. This
and
is
3 additional Stargates.
3 Stargates, man. Those sentries are going to die here, but I feel like Parting is moving into... He's actually just a step ahead in almost all aspects of this game.
He built the Stargates against Violet. I feel it was Cloud Kingdom.
Yes, Cloud Kingdom. He never ended up using those.
Exactly.
Stargates.
He never used them. He gets them because he has the bank and he knows at some point might be in a position where I have to be flexible enough to just change my tech entirely. And this is something that is always awesome for Zerg because Zerg can do that so easily. But he just prepares for the game. He already gets those upgrades up. Wolf, this is going to be such a great late game between the two of them.
Finally catches those lings and forces them to unburrow. He's got 4 cannons finishing here, now the 5th one. And Life's Roaches are stuck between cannons and a Stalker place.
He just gets rid of them. He tries to trade, tries to kill something, but he just wants to get rid of the supply.
Yeah, he wants to make more Broodlords, just like we saw earlier. That Graviton Catapult coming out. He's getting his +1 shields finished up now, additional cannons going down. And from here, Parting can transition into that carrier composition when he's ready, when it's appropriate. This is not a time to start making carriers, not yet. He starts the 2nd core. He did this against Violet as well, but it never ended up coming to that.
It's just like him preparing for everything. And also one of the weapons that you have, we talked about the Warp Prism and the Warp Prism speed, and he's using it now. He's going in, he's moving in there, trying to take down as many units as possible, forcing the opponent's army to the top left while attacking one of the bases. His problem is that the Corruptors are already there. They're just waiting for it.
Oh, the Corruptors are on him, but they don't pay attention for just a second. This allows these Zealots in, and now he can run the Zealots to that base and perhaps force a cancel. They've got so much armor.
And he's moving in now into the 3rd, or at least he tries to. He's going up, but he can't do anything just yet. We have in the main base a little bit of harassment going on with those Zealots, but still, the army, the main body of the army, is still trying to find an opening at the 3rd base, and here comes the fungal.
Life says no opening here. He's dropping Broodlords on those Stalkers like it's a rainstorm. Parting, though, has to come from the other angle. There are a few spines waiting for him with all these shield upgrades he has, though, for those Archons. He should be able to break through, and another attack at the natural.
Yeah, he's trying to capitalize on the immobility of his opponent, and there he moves in right now. The Guardian shield is up. Here come the defenses against all those Zealots. We have the Infested Terrans now. At the same time, the recall being used, but 3 of the Immortals are actually still trapped at the top left.
There's trapped there, but will they be able to get the base? I don't think so. We don't have a shot of it, in fact, but...
They didn't kill it.
Yeah, they didn't kill it. I want to see how many hit points it has left, because that could be another target for the Warp Prism a little bit later on, maybe with just even 3 Zealots. And the carrier transition, it's on. He's got +2.
He's going into the carriers right now. We have him with carriers on the production tab. He wants to transition here, and the +2 attack upgrade for the air weapons is already being researched.
Well, Zealots getting a little bit distracted here, and he needs to turn them around. He does. This Protoss army is very fragmented. I feel like the core of Life could actually shut him down hard since it's all together. The Infestors, the Corruptors, and the Broodlords, they're all together in a trio.
And Life is trying to end it. He's at 600 gas and he doesn't have a 5th base. He's not trying to expand again. He's moving to the bottom, but Parting is just moving up to the top, trying to attack again. He has the Mothership. He is actually using the Mothership to the top right. He could use a recall later. What is he going to do with it?
Yeah, it looks like he just wants to use it as part of his attacking force, but I feel like we're going to have an elimination race because Parting cannot go home. Life sends his Infestors home, which is really smart, but leaves his Broodlords and his Corruptors to actually start taking out these bases where there are carriers actually that will spawn and die. This is the worst possible scenario for Parting's carriers.
This is wasted resources right there. He can't do anything about it.
He should cancel those carriers.
He can't really do anything about it right now. And at the same time, the 3rd base is gone and Parting is now moving in. He's moving into the natural. He's trying to take down the tech. It's an elimination race. You said it best earlier.
Yeah, I really feel he should have canceled those carriers, but he wants to buy as much time as possible, so he actually has them out there as meat shields. The Archon's shields are getting really low, but they have +2.
He could always try to recall the carriers to the Mothership, but only if there are 4 of them at the same time. Yeah, and now it's of course too late with the Stargates already gone. They are dead.
Now he's trying to break them through here, but there's too many spines, there's too many Infested Terrans. The Stalkers come for a flank. Will he be able to break through? The Corruptors are nowhere to be seen. Now it will come out.
It's really scary. All those Infestors, they have too much energy, and now suddenly the Spine Crawlers can't even attack the Colossi. 3 of them are dead, and look at the main base at the bottom right. The army for Life is incredible.
It looks like he may actually do it. He may tie it up. Life looking unstoppable here. The Spine Crawlers remain alive. He's still got the better army. He needs a little bit more economy, though. Uh-oh, Infestors dying left to right here. Got to be very careful those Infestors. The Observer is nearby.
This play by Life is just crazy. But Life has to think about if he needs to hide some buildings at some point.
Yeah, he will. Something to consider, though, is even with the Mothership here, he needs Archons, and there they are. He had enough resources to make those Archons. He needs to keep those Archons with his Mothership so that he can eventually kill those Broodlords. There's no other way to fight them.
You know how many Archons that is? This would be such a 6 Archon toilet.
Yeah. If he actually gets those Broodlords into the Archon toilet, they're going to be not long for this world. A little bit of a cancel there. All these probes are not going to be found. The probes escape. Oh, does he see them? It's too late. They're going to get away.
The resources for both of them, the bank is gone. They are at very similar supply account numbers now. Where is the bundle? No, he doesn't even go for
He's
it.
just going to blink away. He should blink away.
He could, but he doesn't.
More and more bases being eliminated, but the drones have been pulled away.
And with the numbers of harvesters and drones, just in general, that we have 18 to 51, Life has to end it on this army. He can't reproduce anything.
He's going to make one Overseer right now. That's actually the 6th Overseer he'll have. He's going to make sure he needs to keep those alive, because if he doesn't have those Overseers and suddenly the Mothership has cloaked units underneath that he can't deal with.
He's taking down those last few bases that we have for Parting. And Parting is, of course, now in a little bit of trouble, but the army supply, that's what it's all about.
He needs to pull these Archons back. He cannot afford to lose them. And here come the Corruptors. I don't feel like there's enough anti-air. He just needs to target down that Mothership.
Do we have Neural Parasite?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I didn't double check. And right now we can. But I don't think there's Neural Parasite. And with Neural Parasite, he has to dart in with those Corruptors and take down the Mothership. He has 16, so he should be able to do it.
Needs a Vortex here. Double Vortex to save the Mothership. Well worth it.
The Archon toilets are going in. If I was a Corrupt, I would feel pretty shitty now.
Yes, I would
if
too.
If he's flushing, then this might be the end of the Antia for Life.
And he gets away with most of the Corruptors.
For a second.
But
Still 11 left.
The Broodlords are still something he has to kill, and now he finds himself on no mining and also no vortexes.
He's starting to be a little bit low in buildings. He's getting the hatch now.
That probe is so valuable, actually. He needs to make sure he keeps that alive.
106 supply for our Zerg player. 98 for Parting.
He's just going to turtle here because he knows at this moment in time, how can he approach that location with so few units? I mean, yeah, he's got a big army, but the composition is not going to really let him go up there against Infestors and Broodlords.
He can't lose those Corruptors. If he cannot take down the Mothership and the Mothership gets a good bungle against the Broodlords, it's over.
Yeah, you're so right. That's why he's got to make sure he knows exactly where it is at all times so he can't get that angle.
And he's taking down Spinecrawler after Spinecrawler. They're hidden everywhere on the map. And this also opens up a weird scenario for Life, because if Life really has to defend like one point on the map, can he really move out with those Broodlords? They are so slow, it's such an immobile army that if Parting is able to get past him, he will never be able to be back in time to save them.
Yeah. He can't move with the Broodlords, I feel. I feel he has to hold that base. He knows Parting is not really mining. Parting has a base up to the top left, but it's not mining at all. He doesn't even have probes trying for that.
It's not even close to mineral line.
Yeah, look at those probes. They're all just sad and shy. He's going to start working on this extractor, which is pretty smart considering that that's one of the structures that's away from Life's normal army, and he's not going to bleed out. Extractors don't bleed out over time.
Look at that army. 1 ling, 10 infestors. That's so many infestors. But 21.
The Mothership, he needs to protect it.
Oh, he goes in. He's trying. He's trying.
Oh, he's got a few energy left, and then he'll have that Vortex available.
Both of them are so patient here. This is awesome. It's all about the positioning, and here comes the Vortex again.
Yeah, but I don't know if he can stick around with the Broodlords here. I think he has to leave. He can't actually fight here.
The Broodlords, they can't fight.
Yeah, the Broodlords can fight, but the Stalkers cannot.
No,
the Stalkers cannot kill those Corruptors.
Yeah, there is no way for them. Not without the energy. And once again, the Corruptors are dodging those Archons. And the Archon count is getting pretty low for Parting here. They only has 2.
Yeah, he lost those Archons. Now he tries to blink around and he gets bungled. This could be the end of this game. The Stalkers are getting eliminated here.
Oh my god, the anti-air is about to be done. He's moving in. He's trying to kill the hatch.
He's targeting it.
There's still an extractor. He is still an extractor.
Yeah, there's the extractor that's being targeted. There's another extractor there. He will get the hatch.
This is it. This is it, Wolf.
I don't think he has enough.
GG!
What a crazy game.
To the bottom left of Entombed Valley at the Blizzard Cup 2012, we have the Zerg player for Team StarTale who was able to tie the series against his teammate. It is
30 live.
StarTale live. Such a great player.
Showing some dates, man.
That's Heart of the Swamp.
Yeah. Heart of the Swarm dates in March. Now to the top left, the StarTale Protoss, the king of all Protoss players. He is
30.
We were talking about the King of the North. He's the King of the world.
He is on top of the world, potentially the best player in the world. He wants to prove it today.
This is such a crazy series. I love it. And I love that we are having Entombed Valley now. This is a map.
It's an iconic map, you know?
It evolved. The play on this map evolved so much. Vortex Valley at some point. It was all about the Neural Parasite against the Vortex. Then we had Siege suddenly come up with this timing attack of 3 bases where it goes into up to 11 gates actually. We had timing attacks with Colossi on this map. Then Parting suddenly starts against Violet with this early Mothership. So many different styles that you can play these days on this map.
We've seen other styles even. We've seen the fast Immortal push even worse on this map. We've also seen, on this map, people will go for Void Rail ones too.
You know, as long as you don't start cross position to your opponent, you can go for an Immortal push because you can take those pathways that are very narrow where you can use your force fields. Cross position, it's a little bit suicidal.
Yeah, a little bit, so not really want to go for that one. But we are not cross positions. The positions do favor Life, I feel, a little bit for defending his third base, but if an Immortal push occurs, he's going to just be hit at his natural, not at the third base. This is tense, man, and I don't know what Parting is going to do here. The one thing I can almost be certain of is that he's not going to go for Stargate on this map.
I feel after the 4th game, all the predictions have gone out through the window. It's just game after game for these guys. They take it one game at a time, and this is what we are doing as well. It is a really, really crazy series, and I hope that it goes all 7 maps.
Starts to look more and more likely that it will, but we'll see. Only time can tell us that. And again, I really want to stress the importance of this map. This map is so important for Life. If he takes it, he's got all the momentum.
It's the best map for Parting at this point. 3 bases, of course, scouted by the Probe. No surprise for Life. He has an Overlord in position. He sends the Zerglings straight after the Probe, wants to take it down.
Probe hides, tries to hide. There's the core. When that finishes, that's the Parting tech timer. When that finishes, we're going to find out what happens here. Just taking a glimpse into the main base, he doesn't have a pylon planted at his ramp, which is normally where you see him put his Immortals. It's possible he just makes it at his natural in vision of the Overlord. If he goes for Stargate, that's something that we'll likely see. Core is finishing. He's got 200 gas already. What's it gonna be, Parting? Everyone is silent right now. Everybody is waiting.
The Korean casters don't say a word.
The Korean casters are silent as well. And robotics.
It's the robotics. Right away. No third base just yet. What is he gonna do?
Stick with what works, man. I think he's gonna go for the Immortal push on this map. But
Last
third
one
base,
attack.
You know, the thing is, on this map, you can take a third base with Immortals, but it's actually just not even really necessary. Most people will go for the faster third with Gateway units. Oh, he sees the third base with that probe. That was so close. Nice attempt of a denial.
Yeah, well, he saw it earlier that it was building, but now he has the confirmation that it's actually there. And we are close to getting this one robotics done, and then we'll find out what's going on.
He's got enough resources for the Immortal. Everything lines up. Immortal.
He's going for the push.
And it's totally hidden. Life has no idea.
Yeah, so far he doesn't. And Life is going for the tech at the same time that the first Immortal has been started. Here come the additional gates. It is the Soul Train once again. This time, Life trying to defend against it with Evolution Chamber and also with the Roach Run. On Cloud Kingdom, where he won, he went into double upgrade Zerglings and into Fast and Fastest.
Yep. Here comes that Overlord to try to scout. That's what that probe's going to check. He's going to kill the Overlord first. He wants the Overlord, though, to see that he's killing the rocks. That kind of lets him know, oh, you're probably going to take a third. He's going to see the gateways, but that's not enough of a tell. You know, seeing all 3 gateways, though, is a pretty good sign, because normally if you make 3 gateways like that, you're going to be making them at your third base as a wall if you're making the third base at all.
This is once again one of those scenarios. If you get up on the high ground at the third base, for example, the third base is dead. You can't get units in there anymore. Here come the additional gates. Harding is preparing, taking down those rocks, and at the same time, let's have a look at his opponent. 55 harvesters going straight into Ling Road.
He wants to make it look like there's a third base of that pylon again. He's attacking the rocks with his sentries. But he's not going to take a third. No way. Great scout denial. Oh, this is so tense, Calder. Life
Can't take a third base yet. No way.
Life is very aware, I feel, of what's happening. He's not taking the bait. He starts his links now. He's already got enough links on the map to slow this down.
The Parting Express is on the move, and it has been scouted.
Yep. One day there'll be children's books written called The Parting Express, and if you don't believe in him, he will blow you to bits, that phase disruptor.
The Warp Prism is on its way. Life knows what's going on. Oh, wow, this pylon will never happen.
Nope.
Oh, wow. This is brilliant for him. This is awesome. Now he needs to wait until he has another probe there.
This is so crucial.
And the probe can be intercepted by the Zerglings.
Exactly, and he's going to lose that pylon as well.
Ouch, and now he can't use the Warp Prism for Warpits anymore.
I think he may actually just give up. He may give up the push here.
I think he can't.
It's so
Against
late.
3 bases, you can't give it up. You have to go through.
He has to, and you know, he stepped back for a second, but he's got his wits together now. He's going to hug the wall so the Lynx can't get us around. He doesn't need force fields on that side.
But he needs now the Warp Prism to warp units, and he can't use it to micro. And there we go. Everywhere, Zerglings, Roaches trying to go in. The force fields, of course, once again, brilliant. What else would you expect? But still, is it enough?
They are splendid force fields, but they're about to fade. He needs a few more sentries. The high ground vision is not there.
Well, he has it with the Warp
Now
Prism.
he's got it, yeah, and he's... Whoa, that was a sick pickup on that Immortal.
And he takes down the sentries. He's pushing his opponent
But
back.
he's lost so much already. He's lost a lot of ground here, losing another sentry.
Oh, yeah, Parting. Yeah, of course. Life is doing a great
Yeah,
job
Life
here.
has a sick position here. He's even got that high ground, continuing to pester and poke.
He's getting even another flank out. He wants to attack from a different angle. He's setting 3 different attacks up against his opponent. Force fields. Decent force fields, trapping a lot of units. Yeah. Does he have the lava? Already spine crawlers. This is still scary. It's the best position for Life because he killed the probe and the pylons. But still, this is a strong push.
It is strong, man, and he's going to trap these units on their retreat path, but he's got to pick up these Immortals. Where's the Warp Prism? There it is, just in time.
The sentries.
Oh!
He saves it. He saves all the Immortals, but the sentries, they are running out of
sentries
energy.
left. That's it. This is about as threatening as a light show at this point.
And the Warp Prism is not able to save the Immortal. 1 Immortal down, 2 to go.
And here
now
comes the floodgates. He comes around the right side. There's nowhere to run anymore.
22 Zerglings, and of course he has the Roaches, and he's rebuilding them. He really has +1 attack upgrade. He's going for the second one.
Even on the high ground, takes out the Immortal.
Boom! This
is it. The sentries can do nothing but sit and die. GG!
He starts to the top left of Belgian Vestige here in the 6th game of the Blizzard Cup 2012. The Zerg player with 3 wins in a row against his teammate. It is
Starting live.
3 games, 1 in a row. 1 more to go to take out his teammate. To the bottom right, started off great here, but now finds himself on 2 tough maps. He is...
Party.
all eyes on him now. What's it gonna be? 2 base timing, 3 base. What will we see? He has all the options. It's a tough map for him. He has to make a choice, and it's not gonna be an easy one. Not at all.
He's probably been thinking about it. He had that 5-minute break, you know, and that 5-minute break seems like an eternity when all you can do is sit in your booth and just think over your build orders in your head. And even though the 5-minute break ended, he may not have even been able to accomplish something. He may have to improvise here. Sees the pull first, of course, is something you want to force with his scout. He knows he's now in a position where he could die to anything, so he had to scout with a probe. There's no way an early pull is going to put an end to his finals life.
You are so right. Life is a player that just has no respect for no one. He could start with an early pull here. He could do anything, and this is something that Parting knows, so Parting will play it very safe here. But then, after his opening, after he has his forge, his second base set up, and his cybernetics core completed, he will have to make the choice that could just end his tournament life, or win him the game and force a 7th map.
Yeah, you're right. This is going to be the toughest choice. These next 2 choices he has to make. In fact, not just this one, but if he wins here, he has to play on the Abyssal City, whereas Life is sitting back knowing that he's got the advantage, he's got the momentum now. He took out Parting on Entomb Valley.
Yeah.
It's like, it should be smooth sailing from here on out.
Well, things went just south for Parting on Entomb Valley. His big problem was that he was scouted. He tried to fake this 3rd base, but Life never really fell for it. Life was in a spot where he saw with the Overlord, okay, the Immortals are coming out, we have the sentries, and then immediately, what did he do? Position those roaches on the cliff.
High ground, yeah.
And the problem for Parting was that this was exactly the position where he wanted to build his pylon. Not only the pylon died, the sentry too, sorry, not the sentry, but of course the probe.
Yep.
And then the Zerglings ran in, took out the 2nd pylon, and suddenly Parting was looking at it and was like, well, I don't have a warp-in pylon anymore. I have to use my warp prism.
It seemed like a lose-lose situation from there because, you know, falling back and taking that 3rd base is something he could do, but he would be so behind to do that.
Yeah.
It's basically impossible. You spend so many resources on gateways, then you have to wait for a 3rd to finish. Then he could have tried to force it through, but his opponent had all the odds stacked against him. He decided to fall through, which I think was the better choice, but it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, he tried, but he couldn't make it work, and now this might be his last map, and he has to make the choice what kind of tech he wants to show us. Is he going to go into another Immortal push? Will we see the 3rd base attempt? A Stargate opening, also possible here. A tough map to take the 3rd, but doable. Parting can make it happen.
I think he's going to have to. He can't do the Immortal push again.
You know, against Violet, I said that before we started the series, what impressed me the most was his patience with the Colossus play on 3 bases when he over and over again just waited a little bit, just a tiny little bit before, until the Corruptors were damaged, until they were down, and then he used those Colossi, and he took those fights so well. This is a style that we have not seen him do in the series.
Yeah.
It might be something that will be good against Life. Maybe he shows it.
Fast +1, no 3rd or 4th gas counter.
Yeah.
This is unique. This is special.
This is very, very different. This is not the Immortal push that he shows. This is a different timing that we see from Parting here. And he has now, of course, the Warp Gate already on the tap. There comes the Robo, but this time I feel we are more likely going to see a Warp Prism and Gateway.
Yep. We're going to see a Warp Prism. We're going to see potentially some Warp Prism Harass, and then a 3rd base. We could also see the Observer first. This is a long rush distance from the map. It's really hard to get information about what your opponent's doing otherwise. Overlord needs to stay away, stay where you belong.
Stays put, and Parting knows exactly where his position. He's on the map with a Stalker.
Oh, nice trap attempt by Life.
Yeah.
Parting is also on top of things. The Overlord sees the timing of +1, by the way, which is something that's really important.
Yeah. Sees the +1 timing here. Top
gonna
right, we have the 3rd, of course.
Twilight Council very soon. He tries to get in here, just waiting for that Observer, of course.
It is the Warp Prism.
Yep, Warp Prism first. And there's the Twilight Council. Nope, that's actually another gateway.
Yep, he wants to go for the gateways with a +1 attack, present the Warp Prism and do damage. He has 3 additional ones, really gearing up here, going into 4 gates, trying to do some damage, and then we'll find out what his plan is. We might even see him to attempt to block the ramp with a force field. It's fallen a little bit out of the grid. It's not really in fashion anymore, but it was a strategy that was very, very popular for some time.
Double Evolution Chamber going down for Life.
No Roach Swarm.
I think he's going to attempt the block if he gets away with it.
That's the Roach Swarm.
If he gets in the main and unscouted, he might try it, but I think there's too many Overlords.
He goes for the 3rd.
Yeah, he's going for the 3rd, you're right.
This is what most players will do, go for the 3rd base instead, and it makes a lot of sense.
You follow this up with Observers to pick off tumors as well.
He added more gates. He's not at 4. He's actually right now at 5. He might even be at 6.
And he can actually warp in units here and try to go for an attack on the hatchery. This is a very fast timing.
Yeah, he's going in right now. The Queen.
Assassinated. Great micro by Parting.
That was really well done.
He's forced so many units out, and now he doesn't actually need to warp in any additional units to actually make the attack worth it.
Immortal is being built. We will see a third base, most likely. I would expect the Twilight Council to be dropped very soon to get into the blink of fate.
Yeah, +2 is also really important. But with all these lings that he made for the defense, Life can now use them on the aggressive at the third base, which is so exposed. This is the reason why so many players dislike this map, because it's so exposed. Now he's supply blocked after losing those 2 pylons.
Yeah, he killed his own pylon. There's the Twilight Council, as expected. He's trying to do it. And Life, on the other hand, has the infestation
He's
bit
got
nearly
other
ready.
plans, and he's not going to let that Nexus up for free. He's actually going to force these units into the natural.
This is a very aggressive timing of Life, and he has 1-1. He will have 1-1.
He's going to have 1-1, and he's just got... He made a lot of these links defensively because he saw that Warp Prism coming. He knew he needed some units. Now he has 60 links on the map. How is he going to take a third base? He's going to take perfect force field.
Oh, this is not going to be easy, Wolf.
Oh!
Close.
That was so scary.
Oh.
He's going to need to use some force fields. Nice baiting by Life, but Parting also not really taking the bait, being very calm and collected.
1 force field, that's all that he pulled down here. He has enough energy still. He's going for the Immortals. Roach just won't do the trick here. Even the robotic space now already on its way. He needs the cannons at the third, and that's what he's getting now.
Remember, this is a lot of gas spin on these sentries, which will not be used offensively, only defensively. A great trap on these links. That's what you need. That's worth 4 force fields any day.
Parting's force fields are just crazy. They are better than Seed's force fields.
They're better than MC's force fields, man. They're better than Force Field Mon's force fields. And now the probe is actually saved here, but the force fields go down, and such patience from Parting. Look at how he just moves his units around with like a slight push, like he's trying to push somebody in to jump on a bungee jump when he's scared.
I feel like Parting has been taking lessons from Automaton 2000.
That Warp Prism was just very quickly canceled. He was like, yeah, I don't like it.
6 infestors now.
He's going to catch this Prism.
Yeah, he's still
Fungal
moving
should
out
be able
here.
to hit it. Oh, barely escapes. If he had turned the path, he would have lost it.
Here comes the attack. Most of
This
them
is such a scary push, Caldor. You know, force fields can only get you so much. He needs those Colossi over there stat.
But I'm not sure if he has enough, if Life has enough. I'm not quite sure if that's going to work. He has to rely so much on the infestors. If he gets good fungals against all the sentries, then yes. But this is all about positioning right now. And of course now with the last patch that we had, you can force field those infestors out.
Good fungal on those sentries, and he gets the second. Ouch.
2 infestors die, 1 and 2. Now the Colossus is in, and the Colossus is going for it.
And the fungals are still effective, but he needs to be able to close distance to get those force fields. Since the sentries didn't die, he's still got those force fields available. Range is almost done for Colossi. Very fast weapon upgrades coming out for Parting.
Parting has 137 supply. He's nearly on the same supply count as his opponent. Another infestor that dies. These are units that Life just can't waste.
I think Parting actually, you know, there's a brain split challenge. I think Parting might have made a secret force field challenge. The way he force fields units is actually just art. It's not even abstract art, it's kind of in your face. It's like, hey, those infestors are dead, look at it.
Parting force fields are twice as effective as a normal force field.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not sure if they have a like 0.1 bigger radius or something. It feels like it.
This is what we used to say about Seed, but these days it's true for Parting. He's the new force field fiend.
I like that. That nickname, you've used it before. Zelly gets trapped and taken out here.
+2 attack done.
Both players on even workers, 72-72, but the tech is actually getting better and better for Parting.
Yeah, he's on 3 bases now. This is the style that we saw against Violet, and this is just so good. He executes this so well.
And he's adding the gateways. He wants to hit that timing before Broodlords are out. The Spire is actually barely done. He's going to make the Corruptors now.
Add 7 additional gateways.
Yes.
Is he now on 11?
I think he may be on even more than that. I think he's on 12.
Oh my god.
12 gates.
Die.
And now he's going to go for the attack. He's going to have charge with this as well. It's going to be very useful. Of course, a closing distance on spine crawlers he may encounter.
He's supply block, but he really wants to go for it. And we don't have any high tech for Life. He does not have Broodlords. He's far, far away from having Broodlords. He doesn't even have height.
Not at all. 3, 4 Templar going down now. 6, he's going to have some Archons with this for sure.
Oh, wow. Party. 170 supply already, a nice bank in minerals. Not just the gas that he wants.
Yeah, but he will have... All that gas he just spent was on the Archons. He's going to have a ton of Zealot Warpins at his disposal. Oh, this game could decide the entire tournament.
Yeah, Life is on the move, so is Parting. Both of them meeting in the middle of the map. Not really willing to fight just now. Parting with a Stargate. He already goes for the mothership. We saw it against Violet.
Yeah, that's the first step to saying, you know, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I don't have to commit. He's having second thoughts here.
Against Violet on this map, it did not work. He lost 3 motherships without doing a lot of damage.
Dumping that Zealot Bank, but he's spotted. Oh, this is a ton of Zealot Bank that's going to go to waste.
Yeah.
There's too many Bungles and Lings here. He can't do anything.
He even tries to charge towards the Infestors and take them out, but he's not able to do
War
it.
Prism goes down, but the Bungles are used here, and Parting sees his opportunity.
Parting moves in.
He's going to the right side. Yeah, he's going to take out that 4th base while he takes his own 4th.
Speed upgrade for the War Prism. A second War Prism being built. Stargate nearly completed. Parting moving back again. Just keeping Life on his toes, letting him run from the left to the right to the left.
Fleet Beacon goes down.
He buys himself so much time, but Life, he's everywhere, defending, building up a bank.
This is getting pretty intense, man. The War Prism speed's going to allow him to be a little bit more positional, just like he was doing in the main base, but he's got to make sure to make every single warp in count. The Infestors are here to buy time, and a great bungle there, but he loses an Infestor in the process.
And we were so funny, but here we go. He can't move those Colossi back. He tries to do it, and he attacks those Corruptors immediately. A lot of Infested Formates are being used, and still those Colossi are alive and dishing out the damage. Suddenly the Corruptors are gone, and Parting can use these units. He's dropping in supply as suddenly Life reinforces with Zerglings. Zerglings won't do it.
Yeah, Life can't commit. He decides to pull back. He knows that he's out of Infestors. He's out of options. The Colossi shields were gone. The Colossi looked tempting, but he has to back up. Now Parting again is on the move, but he has still not taken out that base. And the Bungles here are good. He's got a concave with those roaches.
He moves in. The Colossi doing a lot of damage. There are no Corruptors in this fight.
Here come those Lings, though. He's going to try to go for the surround. It looks like he may just have enough.
Oh, there is too much. He blinks away. One Colossus is still alive, but he loses so much here. The rest of the Colossi, they die. We even saw a little bit of dancing there. 105 supply gets 155. The Warp Prism being used to warp in the next round of Stalkers, but Life has so much stuff.
The 4th base is still alive. The Stalkers blink and those Stalkers are gone.
Oh,
look at his face. He knows he may just lose it here.
Oh God, Parting is on the ropes. He's down for the count. Life is standing over the body of his own teammate, and he might just take him down and
he
kill
wants
him.
to finish him. +3 is so late. He actually cancels it to get the mothership. Warp Prism is shut down here.
No openings for Parting.
Parting needs to turtle, but there's an opening.
God.
And he gets into the main base. This could be it.
The nail in the coffin, the Zerglings in the main, in the natural. Zerglings everywhere. Life is everywhere.
Life is all around us, but right now Parting is wishing that were not the case. He's going to lose his Nexus in the main. He already canceled his mothership and transferred it to another Nexus.
But he's losing so much here. The Nexus is now dead. We have the Greater Spire nearly completed. Parting is fighting. He is putting up such an effort.
Look at how cost efficiently he traded here, but the Broodlords are waiting.
Yeah.
That Greater Spire is finishing. That bank is going to go to 0 in just a second.
The monkeys are listening. The Broodlords are waiting.
9 started, 10 started. That's where the bank goes. He goes towards that max, and now the probes have to be pulled again here.
Parting is trying. He's everywhere, defending, trying to shut down Life's aggression, and he still has 133 supply.
He's not
waiting
giving up
for the mothership, and why would he give up?
He does not want to give up. This is his last chance. It's Parting. He needs those Archons. He's low on gas, though. He needs all the pieces. He needs the Archons, he needs the Mothership, and he needs the Vortex. It's the Protoss trifecta of late game PvZ, and that's what he's waiting for right now.
This game is going to decide who is going to be the Blizzard Champion 2012, who gets this big check, and probably also deciding who has to wash the dishes today at the Startel House.
That's probably true, man. I think that no matter who wins, they may go out to eat, but I think there's probably a stack of dishes at home with all the players that have had to be practicing, preparing for this tournament. The Mothership is out, but again, that's only one piece of the triangle. He needs the Vortex, and he needs the Archons, and with these roaches denying his gas mining, it gets a little bit harder.
Archons are now being morphed in. The big problem, the Mothership does not have the energy yet.
He needs more time, but the Broodlords aren't going to give it to him.
Oh, the Mothership is a little bit exposed here, but he does not have the Neural Parasite. He could fondle. Does he have the Corruptors? No, only two.
No Corruptors here. He's extending himself a little bit far out here.
He's going to sack the space. He is not going to defend defend this 4th base? I think he can't.
He can't defend it. He needs more. He needs more time. He needs more Archons. Only 2 Archons is not going to cut it. He won't even be able to get into the vortex with that many infestors.
He needs more soul.
He needs it. Give him your Soul Pros players. He needs your support. The Nexus will fall.
Life is going for it. He knows that he has this game in his grasp. It is so close. He's 1 map win away from being the Blizzard
Broodlords
champion.
are exposed, though. Life is playing such a good game here, but he can't let those Broodlords go down.
And once again, the defense at the bottom left. This gives Life the time to move back with his Broodlords. This gives him the opportunity.
He needs to rematch with those Corruptors so he can take out the Mothership.
Look at the bank for a Zerg player. Nearly 3,000
Rogue's being
minerals, so
taken
much
out.
gas.
Parting for the first time this month has looked shaken in the booth.
Harding is trying. He's trying so hard. He's doing everything that he can. He's waiting for a mistake, and he's patient. He's waiting for a mistake. If Life makes one mistake, then Harding might
has
take
the
it.
army advantage.
And Harding is sucking his space. He is ignoring the Lings at the bottom right. He's ignoring the Roaches at the bottom left. He is moving in.
He needs that vortex. Can he make this happen? A War Prism goes in to get some of his scouting information. This is not for a counterattack. This is not for a warp, and this is actually just his desperation scout. He's losing bases. He actually needs to pull some probes. He's only got 60 minerals.
He tries
Is
to
it possible?
get the momentum.
Can he make this work?
It's 140 supply against
Spine's
200.
going down. Life is actually pulling back. He says, come at me. And Party says, I'll do just that. He comes forward. The Corruptors, are there enough? Not yet.
There's the fungal, and he tries to make it up. There's the vortex.
The
It is not
vortex
good
is
enough.
good, but not good enough. He needs to close the distance. He needs a blink.
There's just too much. Those Broodlords are in the sweet spot, right on
The
top of those
Spines are
Spinecrawlers.
finishing, and look at Party's face.
This is it. He stopped there. Look at Live at the bottom left. He actually stopped playing for a second. Oh my god, that smile. And Harding at the bottom right. He's done. Harding knows it's over. He knows this is it. Live is the champion. Blizzard Cup 2012.
The first Zerg to take 2 GSL champions, the first one being Des T. He was the first one to do it. He's the second one now.
And Live again with this smirk that he's known for. And that is
GG,
GG.
congratulations.
And it started up here at the upper left. We have the one, the only.
And that, of
Fruit
course,
dealer.
is Fruit Dealer.
Audience going crazy right now. Down here
Rightfully so.
at the bottom right, formerly known as Into the Rainbow, he has changed his ID. He is Hope Torture.
And I have to say, I'm a little bit excited because these are the best spots that Fruit Dealer could possibly hope for. He's as far away as you can get, and that's actually a pretty good distance away. When you're in closer positions, if he's on either side of you, then he can get into your natural extremely fast from his own natural, and that gets extremely hard to deal with. But as is, it's already looking pretty decent for Fruit Dealer as far as Delta Quadrant games go.
Yeah, definitely very far away from his opponent. He will probably be expanding here unless he does take out the destructible debris over here. Hope Torture, known for having very strong harassment. He is really good with medevacs. If you're a Zerg player and you get to the mid to late game, you've got to hang on.
Yeah, and you know, there's a few ways you can deal with medevac harass. Of course, having your creep up everywhere so you can scout is very important. Having your Overlord space correctly is quite important, and getting a lot of Mutalisks or Infestors is going to be the best way to deal with that really mobile threat. Now, we've seen Fruit Dealer likes both of those. He likes to open mutas and go into infestors, which is fine, but there's going to be a timing in between large muta numbers and infestors having that presence that if Hope Torture takes advantage of that, it's going to be very good for a Terran player.
We do see Hope Torture going to finish the refinery and the barracks. Pretty soon we're going to see what kind of build he's actually going to go for.
That's right. And our Zerg player, Fruit Dealer, he's going to go ahead and probably get speed first.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
Sometimes he does open Roach first, and that can be a pretty interesting opening on this map. You know, if it's close positions, he can get right over there and harass the depots at the wall, or if there's no depots at the wall, and sometimes just walk up the ramp. But it looks like he's going to go for speed.
Sending the scouting SCV. He is going to see exactly what his opponent's up to. Note he did get an extractor first. He only has one drone mining Vespian gas right now. And he is indeed, as you predicted, Artosis, going for link speed.
That's right. Now, if he gets a second queen or goes ahead and goes straight to lair, that's going to be the next interesting thing that we're going to have to watch for here. He's only mining with one drone, which makes me think he's going to pop out a second queen. But he's got to get that hatchery up first.
Here's the hatchery, and it gets planted. Meanwhile, the SCV is chased out. Well, obviously you didn't see the hatchery get planted. This SCV will get picked off. Meanwhile, we have the tech lab here coming up and the factory. What are your thoughts, Artosis?
Well, it's pretty standard. Not sure exactly what strategy is going to go for. Maybe blue flamed Hellions, because that is pretty good on this map. The natural is very open, especially with the speed first build. You're not going to have your spine crawlers up by the time it gets there.
The SCV has actually managed to stay alive this entire time. I predicted it would have been picked off. So that means he did, if I can just grab the turret structure here, spot the expansion.
That's right. Now, a second queen is being made here by Fruit Dealer. He's going to want to use the extra energy to lay down a creep tumor pretty quickly here. He's got to get his creep up. That is actually the most important thing in Zergverse Terran nowadays, is having good creep coverage. That is what ZVT has evolved into at this point.
Well, when you got a lot of creep everywhere, your units move so much quicker. You're going to get surround your opponent a little bit faster. Hellion actually pops out. I didn't expect him to actually sneak out of there.
He's got to be careful, though.
Yeah, it's already in the orange.
Drawing the Zerglings over to his Marine.
Meanwhile, we have the second command center on the way. So this Hellion basically is going to clear all the ground out here and allow him to get an expansion up.
This is very interesting, too. He's getting siege tanks with siege mode right now. Now, this is going to allow him to do what we saw him do against Czech Prime, which is just go 3 base, huge timing push, and that is so deadly on this map.
The Hellion has managed to get inside the base, but the creep tumor was up. These Lynx going to get over there a little bit quicker. Takes out the Hellion.
And the crowd going wild at losing that first Hellion, man. It is just electric in here.
We have a siege tank on the way now, and he is going to be upgrading siege mode to keep this expansion safe. We do see a lot of players get the orbital command before lifting, dropping that first mule here, but he will have that expansion up very soon.
Now, Fruit Dealer has got his lair already, but not doing anything with it quite yet. There we go. Starting a Spire, as you see on the production tab.
Right up here, Spire on the way. This could be pretty strong against Hope Torture's expansion build, because there's a lot of area that he's going to have to defend. His buildings, as you can see, pretty spread out. Meanwhile, he's getting a second factory, so we're going to see some more mech-oriented play.
But he does have the armory up.
Oh, take a look at that.
Definitely going to have some Thors out here pretty quickly, just getting the initial siege tank or two to set up. They're going to, of course, help clear the rocks first at the expansion, but then they're going to be set up, and he's not going to be very attackable, especially if he has a couple Thors out. With a couple Thors, you can cover both mineral lines quite easily against Mutila's Harass.
Looks like he's actually going to expand to the back location. He gets this up a little bit later, but honestly, it's going to be a lot safer, at least if he gets attacked by ground.
You know, this is pretty interesting. Look at this, attacking those Zerglings, make them back up. Nice positioning by Fruit Dealer to watch everything going on and seeing what units are popping out. But, you know, this is actually very similar, in fact, almost exactly the same as what he did to Czech Prime, which shows us, you know, he did the same build every game in the TVTs that we saw a couple of days ago. Against OGS and Snare. Now he's doing the same build that we saw him do TVZ here. So he definitely likes to keep with the strategies he knows and likes. Yeah,
that's very true. He's going to be turtling for at least a little while here. It's funny when you look at these two guys, totally different styles. Fruit Dealer doing different stuff every game. And yeah, Hope Torture really kind of sticking with one build. This is the build I want, and I'm going to use this and practice it most and try to win with efficiency.
Now we see Evolution Chamber and the Infestation Tick going up for Fruit Dealer while he takes that third base at another main. Pretty interesting. Not making a ton of mutas, but he's going to be able to probe at least a little bit with the mutas he has, despite the Thors being there. You know, if he techs straight up to Hive, that could be a pretty good move for Ultralisks.
Yeah, that could be a very strong move for Ultras, actually. And one thing about Fruit Dealer is it does seem like he wants to just stall in the mid-games.
Yeah.
He wants to stall out until he can get enough gas and get those Ultralisks out. 3 mutas out here. This shouldn't be too impactful, but we'll see.
Yeah, look at the Thor just making them fly right away. But, yeah, well-placed Thors. No damage done by those mutas. And it looks like he's making the Roach Den and a Baneling Nest. So he's going to go ahead and go Infestor Tech right now. That's his plan. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can control them a little bit better than Czech Prime did in the match. You know, he had a lot of Infestors to a very similar opening by him as well.
Got another expansion over here. Note the locations he's expanding it over here and up here. That means if Terran pushes one, the other expansion will at least survive.
Yeah.
So he's spreading himself out. Meanwhile, the Terran looks like he's going to try to secure this location pretty soon here, or a command center, rather, actually almost complete here. By the way, guys, I do apologize. I know I sound like I have throat cancer. I just had a cold. I got to go to the doctor tomorrow. But not calling in sick today. No way. No sir. You cannot miss this match.
Now, I love what we see Fruit Dealer doing here. I wish he'd spread creep a little bit more aggressively, but other than that, you know, spreading these bases out, it's going to be so hard to get attacked. And look at that, Zerglings cleaning up any scouts that Hope Torture does send out. But, you know...
Scouting Marine over here is going to spot this expansion. And he knows. He sees the creep.
But at the same time, Command Center landing at the natural of Hope Torture, so his economy is actually getting pretty huge at this point. Also, we have a Hive making for our Zerg player.
So Hive on the way. He does have a lot of gas stocked up. He's sitting back, meanwhile taking out the destructible debris over here, and he's going to be able to expand to that gold expansion.
Now look at this evolution chamber. He's getting melee attack. This means 100% he is going to go Ultralisk once he hits that Hive, not Broodlord. He does have the Spire, so he had either option open to him. So definitely we're going to see him rush right up to Ultras, and it's going to be off about 4 base. He doesn't really have drones at his newest expansion yet, but off 4 bases, you can get a lot of Ultras to complement your Infestors, and that's going to be a scary army.
We have a drop coming over here. He is moving out, and he is going to be going for this expansion over here. So it's starting up. He is actually beginning his harassment phase, but the Muta spotted.
Muta's going to slow that down, targeting the medevac. Can he get the medevac? It's huge if he does. He gets the medevac. A bunch of Marines stuck on the high ground. Totally useless right there.
He's going to expand again. It's turned into a macro game. Economics is key on this map. He's going to take the gold location. I'm predicting that the Terran player probably not going to expand or push out, until he's at about 160 supply, maybe even more.
Yeah, in fact, he may even want to max out before moving out, but that can be scary because as we've seen from Fruit Dealer, if you let him get a bunch of bases going, he will get like 80, 90 drones. He'll lose his first max, but the second will be almost pure ultra and he will roll you over.
Now we see that he is also getting Overlord speed, excuse me, and I'm expecting to see Ultras pretty soon here.
Yeah, he's getting Baneling speed. He's just basically upgrading everything. He has a bunch of Ultras making right now. Roach, Baneling, Ultra, Infestor, and Zergling. He is using a lot of the Zerg arsenal right now.
The Zerg just waiting to see if Terran's going to move out. He wants to counterattack if Terran pushes. It doesn't look like Hope Torture is actually going to do that, though.
No, it looks like Hope Torture is going to play very safely. Now, the maxed biomech army of, you know, a bunch of siege tanks, Thors, and Ultras are out.
Ultras are out.
But anyways, this army, it can be quite fearsome. What he's going to need to do is snap the Marines with the fungal growths, and we see a drop going over here.
He's going to try to drop again. Now, he didn't have that momentum from the previous game to get off a very effective drop. You can see the spine crawlers here, and actually an Ultralisk and Queen just sitting over here flirting with each other. I don't think this is a good idea to drop. In fact, he doesn't know that the Ultralisk is here, though.
He can snipe anything in there, and targeting the Queen, takes the Queen out, picks it up, losing only 1 Marine. Decent move right there, but he does not want to lose that. Look at this, another drop over here. And Fungal Growth, there you go. Infestor's very good against this type of harass, but he should be targeting that medevac. There we go. Going to take that out, and these Marines are going to go down.
Well, that attack was pretty much useless. Looks like he will at least get the Queen. He does get the Queen. But you need to do more harassment than that. We got another drop over here. And
he is waiting for it.
He's ready.
Go, Fungal Growth, man.
Is he not going to do it? He's not going to Fungal Growth?
Wait till they're all out, perhaps?
That must have been a miscontrolled move there. He does Fungal Growth. It cleans that up.
Drop those infested Terrans, take that out.
This
and
Marine's actually still alive, by the way.
very annoying Marine over there. All right, in the middle of the map now, it looks like it is time. Hope Torture, he is moving out. He's at 174 supply after losing those drops, which is, so it was basically maxed. And here we go. Oh, Fruit Dealer not wasting any time, looking like he wants to engage, but so many Shanks.
He backs up right now. He's just trying to stall. He wants to get more Ultralisks. Meanwhile, the Marines stim, rush towards this expansion. I don't know if Fruit Dealer can save it in time.
Looks like he's going in the wrong direction and just targeting the hatch, maybe? Nope. And just going to go right through all this. But there's a lot of Banelings coming in here with Infestors. And bam!
Oh my god. He saves the expansion.
Beautiful moves by Fruit Dealer.
Ultralisks, by the way, small counterattack over here towards this expansion. Not that impactful, though. Humiliated medevacs, I almost called them dropships, backing off. We have a small Viking fleet. I think he might try to land and just take out this expansion. Not a bad idea at all. Meanwhile, another push going up to the top right here. He needs to get rid of one of these hatcheries, or Hope Torture's economy is going to be out of control, especially with the gold expansion now taken.
You know what's really great right now? Oh, he's attacking up this hill. Hold that thought. Some Ultras up there, but he's got to bring more. Looks like these Ultras going to fall very quickly to these Marines. But flanked! Look at this. Beautiful. The Infestors bungling and just surrounding everything. Oh my god, this is how you play Zerg.
The Fruit Dealer's fruit is just too good. You gotta buy it, and it's being sold this game. He's moving in from the bottom here. This might be the last chance here if the Terran try to do any damage. Sieging up at the wrong time. Meanwhile, counterattack down here at the Planetary Fortress.
Banelings going for the SCV so they cannot repair. Cleaning up the attack of Hope Torture. And oh my god, Fruit Dealer. He is so good.
He is so good. In fact, he might even be able to save this expansion.
Oh, I think he might. He has a lot of Speedlings coming in here, and they're going to surround these Marauders. They have to be picked up. And the Ultralist on the counterattack with some Roaches. Just so many Ultras out for Fruit Dealer right now.
Fruit Dealer, one of the only Zergs to make it this far in the tournament, is now dominating in a matchup I think a lot of people expected the Terran player to be dominant on, at least on this map. So he might be able to get this expansion, but I think he's just going to run him over here.
It looks like he's going to rush in here, and Hope Torture knows he's in trouble. This is one of the worst maps for Zerg, but really, Hope Torture didn't do enough damage early, and look at this. This is that Ultralisk army that Fruit Dealer is becoming so well known for.
So, I think that's going to be GG in a minute here. We're going to go into game number 2. Unbelievable.
Yeah, this is, I wonder if Hope Torture will learn from this. Such an amazing game by Fruit Dealer, but Hope Torture's got to put on more pressure early in the game.
Unbelievable. He will take out this expansion, but of course he won't have a base, so that doesn't really matter.
Nothing left here. Dropping some extra Ultras, laying his own creep in there with the Overlords he brings.
Wow, he was actually that behind on Mules.
Yeah,
but he actually dropped him. That's embarrassing.
They aren't going to help him right now. So many Ultras. Fruit Dealer.
And these guys, it's actually probably mutiny. They're probably going to try to fly off of this area and leave the map because you wouldn't want to be on there. In that case, GG. Over here at the upper left, or lower left, rather, excuse me, the Fruit Dealer. Whoa, so many fans for him. Down here at the bottom right, formerly known as Into the Rainbow, he is none other than Hope Torture. There we go. Got to get those timings out right.
Now, it's close positions by air. It's kind of interesting because the ground route is quite far. It's going to make Mutalisks a really great choice. And it could make something like a Banshee Rush very effective, but that is not really the style that we've seen so far out of Hope Torture, so I don't expect to see anything like that. But I would definitely like to see a Mutalisk opening by Fruit Dealer here.
As you can see, they're just out of vision of each other. Interesting scouting path. We normally see Zergs come from right here and spot. And I don't know if you guys are picking up the sound of the audience here in my headphones, but it is like the building is actually shaking. It is so crazy down here. It's so awesome. Here comes the drone. Going to expand.
Yep, he's going to go ahead and take a hatchery first. Now, this is pretty cool. If you go hatchery first and you skimp on the ling speed, you can actually get mutas out to stop the tank drop. So
if that's what he ends up doing, but again, that's quite risky because without Ling speed, you really don't have anything to stop other early attacks. So there's a lot of gambles that could take place here.
Gambling, of course, illegal in Korea, so these guys are quite risky.
More risky than we even thought.
Scouting drone here. Now, he actually got his Overlord over here. He's not going to use the Overlord to scout. He needs to get position over here and see if the Terran's going to expand. So he's going to send a drone out. And this is an interesting path he's actually going.